You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. 1-402-799-1811. This is The Front Porch Show. I am Aaron, joined by just Jeff and Ozzy. We are chilling this morning on this beautiful 1st of February.
Chilling like a villain. It's actually really warm here. It's creepy.
You know, it's funny because it's supposed to hit 50 today here in the beautiful Midwest.
Monday it's supposed to hit up to 60.
That's amazing.
Here. And normally we're in the 30s.
Wow, yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
I'm not going to complain.
It's like Atlanta again, you know?
We normally have a January, February thaw. So I'm kind of good with this, but I wasn't expecting 50s. I guess I was expecting like 40s.
Yeah, 50s is a little extreme. I feel like for your area this time of year.
I mean, I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong. I got to change the brakes on my car this afternoon, so that's going to be nice.
I did that
will
already
make that
last
easier.
week.
How'd it go?
It went pretty well. I still have a little bit of vibration in the left tire.
You think just a rotation?
I think
You're picking up some good vibrations.
I think that's just that because it's not in the steering wheel.
Right.
But it kind of goes like a little bit. So I think it might just be the. I think it might just be the. Well, yeah, I mean when you apply the brake, yeah. So it's not like it's not.
You just said in the type.
It's a little bit. So
yeah,
I think it's just the brake pads getting into.
I'm hoping my shutter has. I'm hoping my shutter is just the brakes. Otherwise, I've got like some control arms on the front end that may be issuistic. So, Atlanta's burning this morning. I ran across a video today showing what are they
85.
doing? 85 I-85 completely shut down.
Are they just preemptively trying to stop the coronavirus by just burning Atlanta down, or?
Probably. I mean, Atlanta's the busiest airport in the U.S., right?
Yeah, so I guess they've stopped.
Sherman's back. Get out while you can.
And Oslin win.
Wow, that's a great reference. That's a great reference. So, I had this like 2 minutes before
This time he's just trying to get to his on time in his march to the sea. It's just his winter cruise.
That's just what happens every time he goes through Atlanta. It's gotta light something on fire.
Can't help himself. You go on those family road trips. You always stop in a certain town and do some certain activity. This is his. This is his
family activity. This is what his great grandkids have done every year. There's always a fire and nobody's ever made the connection.
Wow! If this isn't a conspiracy, we need to dive down the rabbit hole.
We need to research that one.
It's solid. It's solid.
The Sherman Family March to the Sea 2017. Here's some pictures here.
Yes. On the right, you'll see a trailer truck that's been lit.
Is it too soon? Is it too soon for this? I don't know.
Was it last year or the year before when I-85 they had the fire under the bridge and the bridge collapsed?
I think that was 2 years ago.
Was it?
Dude, let me tell you how fast they fixed that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
can we borrow those road crews up here in Michigan?
No. What they did though is instead of just being like, okay, this needs to be fixed, they gave them an incentive and were like, hey, if you get this fixed within this amount of time, you can have, I think it was like a couple $million extra. And it was fixed within a couple of weeks. It was ridiculous.
Wow. So they did.
Of course, it's already falling apart again. But
it's shocking how that works. If you
it was paper mache, and we just wondered. It was weird why they went with that.
So
it's held together so far.
I was reading another city in the southeast. I don't remember which one it was, but the city was doing a whole new what do they call it? The viaduct or whatever, where
for
vehicles.
Runoff?
No, vehicles.
Oh, for vehicles?
For vehicles. They call it a viaduct or something. They call it the same thing up here in Sioux City. They were redoing the viaduct along the, raised highway. And
and
so
did you say that?
Redoing the raised highway, and they got it done on time, so they got a $15 million bonus.
Right.
I'm like, wow.
I'm fine.
That's incredible.
I'm fine with that.
I'd rather have the incentives to get it done on time.
Time and money you save just doing that.
And if they didn't get it done on time, they were going to lose like $25,000 a day, or $250,000 a day, or something.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I don't know. I mean,
if anybody wants to incentivize me that way,
because if you don't have those incentives, they just drag their feet and they could waste time, waste money. But if you do have those incentives, they might cut corners to get the project done. So that's why you have to also.
Well,
you also have to like give a reasonable timeline with those incentives.
Absolutely. But you also have everybody, like the checks and balances of the inspectors and everything else. So I'm sure, for Atlanta's example.
Well, I don't know if I got $15 million extra dollars, I could slide a little to an inspector.
I'm sure those inspectors that work with the same company that always gets the contract
are now living in LA.
Right.
They're now living out in the Caribbean.
Yep.
With their foreign shore accounts.
I'm just saying,
We never saw Bob again. What happened to that guy?
I don't know. There's a lot of inspection jobs out there.
To be honest, if it's in Atlanta, his name's like Junior. It's not Bob. It's like Junior.
Or Bubba.
He's literally named for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Hank. Yes. Wow. That's great.
Let's go.
Wow. That's funny. Guys, I had this thought like 2 minutes before we started the show.
It happens.
I was like, we're recording on Saturday. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And on Monday, the show releases. So should we like do one segment where we praise Kansas City?
No, because it's going to be the 49ers. That's why.
And then we'll cut this. I
think it's going to be Green Bay.
We'll put whichever segment into the show that needs to be put in.
Oswin got it.
So if Kansas City loses, we'll do the Green Bay, or we'll do the 49ers segment.
Why don't we just do it without cutting? And
did I just get Mathis to say if Green Bay wins? I think I just got Mathis to say
yes. Which is what everyone out here was hoping. They were hoping Green Bay versus
nicely
versus Kansas City, which
can't stand Aaron Rodgers.
What?
Wow. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, it's better than the Patriots.
No. Okay,
Patriots are better than
we got Patriots right now. I have said, no. Look,
but wait.
I have said for the last 5 years that Brady needs to retire.
He does need to retire.
He has been losing steam.
He should have retired when he won the last Super Bowl.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, he's 42 right now.
Yep.
He wants to play till he's 45. I understand wanting to go for a record here, but when your last 5 years are going to be dismal, don't do it, man.
Yeah, the thing is, he lost too many of his key players that made him good.
Yeah, but
I think like, or maybe made up for his deficiencies.
Yes,
not that he was having drastic deficiencies, but he wasn't quite as good as he was. But
he's not Mahomes level right now.
Right.
But if he has Gronk and Amendola and those guys,
they definitely made up for it. And with the new guys, they aren't quite as in sync as those old guys were. He should have just gone out with Gronk.
So,
just saying.
Yeah, at least at the last Super Bowl? Did Gronk go after the last Super Bowl as well? I'm trying to remember now. I can't even.
I believe so. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Aaron,
you're right.
a Patriots fan. Tell us.
Well, yeah, because
say that again.
I'm sorry.
I was
the conversation.
Tombstone.
He turns the conversation to the Patriots when that's not what we wanted to talk about, and then just leaves. Because here's the question I had. Going back to recording two possible congratulations to the winners, which now all the listeners are going to know about because we're talking about it.
I know.
But we're being prepared like all the t-shirt and hat companies. So my question is, are we going to send
to all those t-shirts
the segment?
Hats?
Are we going to send the segment of the loser congratulations
overseas
to Africa for them to listen to? Because that's where all the t-shirts and hats get sent. That's my question.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we don't technically have any listeners in Africa right now.
See, so this could be a way to break into another market.
Yes. New market's good.
Yes, let's do it. Because it's not like we need to know a different language, at least in certain parts of Africa.
Okay, so speaking of
South Africa,
right?
Across the U.S., we have regular listeners. We have one very consistent listener down in Brazil.
Really?
Yes, and so
whose roommate
I don't
do we have
know.
that's down in
Like,
Brazil?
that's what I'm thinking about.
It's got to be what it is.
I was like, who do I know in Brazil? I don't know if I know anyone in Brazil. So if you are listening to us in Brazil, will you please call the message line 1-402-799-1811? I want to know who you are. Like, I'm so curious about this.
At least email us, tweet us, something.
Yeah. Because I am so curious. It's not even funny. I've been watching this for the last like 8 weeks now.
You know what? We're probably like in some bar they play us.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It's like just one Brazilian
I highly
bar.
doubt it. They're just like
we're like the entertainment for some small town.
What's the white noise?
And it's like, oh my god!
And they're just playing it because no one speaks English, so they're just like whatever.
No
you know?
idea
I mean, they have like a statue.
Like,
they have a statue of us in the middle of town with our characters
my
on
goodness.
it.
No, I'm not sure about that.
Riding the unicorn.
I think you said rioting.
The unicorn hobby horse.
Like, yeah, they're rioting us. Yes,
riding a unicorn hobby horse. Is that what you said?
Yes.
We're going to be the point of revelation for all of these.
This sounds terrible. This sounds so terrible. Wow.
We're sorry if this is not really you.
This all came from our Super Bowl prediction.
I know. So I realize that
let's try that again.
I realize that the audience is going to hear this after we make these predictions.
No, that's fine. Then they can judge our predictions.
I know.
Right.
Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
I think San Francisco is going to win. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I want to say it's going to be like San Francisco, I don't know, 45 to Kansas City 38 or something like that.
Hold on,
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be close.
45-38.
This 38, is that even like legitimate football scores? That's what
could be.
I always get nervous when I go to like pick a score because I like football, I watch football, but just all of a sudden rattling a score off that would be like divisible by sevens and threes. And you're just like,
but what if
that wasn't even a legit score. Yeah, I'm not that kind of
What if there's a touchback?
I usually don't pick scores at all. So
what did you say, Ozzy? 43-37?
No, 45-38.
45-38? I'm pretty sure I've seen that score somewhere, so I think I think that's right.
What's your prediction?
I assume you're talking to me.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. Sorry.
Okay.
He's still mathing it out. It out.
I don't know that I'm going to do numbers. I think that...
Oh, no, we need numbers.
What do you mean you're not going to do numbers?
Man. All right. Well, I think that Kansas City...
What game is this?
This is a millennial game. It just turned into a millennial game.
No. I was gonna pick the winner. I wasn't going to pick the score. I was going to pick the winner. I was going to pick the winner, not the score.
You know who's the real winners? The T-shirt and hat companies right
That's
there.
Right.
That's right. Real winners are the kids in Africa getting all the shirts.
All right. So I think that Mahomes is going to break the Madden curse and Kansas City, which is like the only true curse of all time that's never been broken. I'm going to say it's going to happen this year.
That is false. You got the goat curse in Chicago.
Okay, well, whatever.
Come on, but that was 100 and whatever. What was that? 114 years or something like that for that.
I'm going with Kansas City over San Francisco. I think Kansas City is going to get behind though because their mode of operation here. Let's see. 30. We're going to go 34 to 21. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, right. 34-21.
Right.
Well, I'm going to go Kansas City 35, San Francisco 27. Ooh, 28.
So in other words, you're just kind of going with the same. How you get? Yeah, you're just kind of going with the same process as me there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're saying that Kansas City's going to miss a field goal.
I was thinking 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
He's like, dang.
Okay.
Or miss an extra point.
That works.
All right.
What's the tiebreaker? We gotta have a tiebreaker. If one of us gets,
how are we gonna have a tiebreaker? The winner is who picks the winner who picks the winner, and then the closest score.
You both are gonna lose because you both don't think San Francisco's going to win.
It's
which
true.
I would like to now congratulate San Francisco on being the world champions of football, even though the entire world does not play football.
Get ready to clip that segment and send it over.
I know.
And now I would like to I would like to congratulate Kansas City for actually winning a Super Bowl and breaking the Madden curse. So congratulations, Kansas. Great job. I was wrong.
That's hilarious.
Is that good enough? Does that work?
I was going to say, for the tiebreaker, we could, is there going to be a repeat of the Janet Jackson episode?
What?
Yes or no?
That's what you want for the tiebreaker? Boy.
Okay, guys.
Does anybody watch?
Where were you?
Halftime?
Where were you when that happened? Because I know where I was. I was a freshman in college, sitting there with my new friends. I was because I was
wait.
I was just hold on. I was a first semester freshman in that January, so I was at school for 2 weeks, and I get invited to
a January semester for your first.
Yes, I did. So I was there. We decided we were going to go to the football game, but you got to go to church first, right?
Yeah.
So you got to go to church, and then you can go to the game. So what we did is we went to
there was no DVR.
We went over to Mount Minnock, and
they have the early service.
They have the early service, but it just so happened.
Actually, the name of it. But
it just so happened. Oh yeah. I don't remember the name, but that's what I know it as. So
wait, what?
So we knew it had the early service, but it just so happened to be Communion Sunday. So
it went long.
It was a really, really long service.
Take that.
I know. So we show up at it was like a 5 o'clock service, and it goes to like 7.
That's exactly what you get.
And no, it was exactly what they planned. You know that.
Well, so it's like our church here. First Sunday of every month in the evening is game. And of course, the Super Bowl just always is the first Sunday of February. So it's not like intentionally planned where we only have it once every few months and we always pick February. Like it's every month. So it is the consistent schedule, but it always falls that way. So.
You did it every week.
Nice.
That's what I'm saying. Anyways,
yikes.
We do ours every week. So where was I going to that? So yeah, so we go there. We're all from New England. We all walk in wearing our leather jackets, and the church is packed, and they sit us on the front row.
Oh no!
And as we're walking in, we get stares from the man himself, just glares. And I remember his eyes piercing my soul because we were there late. We were there late.
Oh, you got there late.
Yeah, we're like 5 minutes late. We were 5 minutes
and got
late.
Walked right down front.
Oh yeah, walk of shame right down the center aisle. And sat on the front row. And because
Baptist Church, if you get there late, the front row's
because
open.
everyone else was there too because it was the early service because they wanted to get home to the game. And so we get to the game and we're sitting there and yeah, it happened.
You learned a lot about anatomy?
My goodness. So anyways, I don't remember.
Oh, so Osland doesn't even know what we're talking about based on
I know.
No,
I thought you were talking about something else, and I was like, I thought we were talking about the church service still, and I was
no. He said we got to the game. He said we got to the game. No.
So
I don't remember honestly. I really
don't remember it happening. I remember all the fiasco about it happening.
We never watched the halftime show, so
that
was
did
just
or pay attention to it.
We basically skipped halftime. So I honestly don't remember it.
I find that watching halftime or watching like the New Year's Eve festivities, I turn into a boomer.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what are they doing?
What's up with these gyrations?
I don't understand. Why would Left Shark be dancing funny? Why would Left Shark be not dancing with the group?
Who is that?
You don't remember that?
What?
Google Left Shark.
No, don't.
Left Shark is a cultural icon. It was
what?
It was when Katy Perry's up there on stage doing whatever she's doing, and you've got all these sharks and palm trees dancing in sync and everything, and over there's Left Shark doing their own thing. It was amazing. It was the most. It may have been the most amazing.
I missed that.
All right.
It was gold.
I'll vouch for this. You should look it up. It's actually pretty funny.
Now,
there's nothing wrong with it.
No, there's not.
There's
not.
It's just completely hilarious because he is so out of sync with the song.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's like,
yeah.
So anytime I see someone dancing funny, I'm like, hey, Left Shark.
No, I will say I don't watch the New Year's festivities, but it's fun to go back and watch where people have compiled like Don Lemon or all the other CNN people or MSNBC people just getting plastered live on air and like saying the dumbest things. And like it is those are some good compilations right there.
Yeah, I remember I watched the New Year's Eve festivities this year, and I felt like an idiot watching it.
What part? The part with people just getting wasted on live TV claiming they're great journalists, or the part with the other person getting pulled into a bathtub with a transgender mermaid?
Whoa, what?
Drag?
I didn't see any of this.
Wait,
what?
No,
What?
see, I'm telling you, I just watced it all after the fact.
Ozzy, I'm glad you watched the 1950s ball drop on YouTube.
We really do.
Well,
no, actually,
the key is
we
don't watch CNN.
We
or
watched
MSNBC.
my kids weren't even aware of any of it, but me and my wife stayed up watching a movie, and 5 till midnight we got off the movie, grabbed the iPad, paused the movie, grabbed the iPad, Googled it, got on YouTube, watched the ball drop because it was live on YouTube.
Yeah.
So we watched the ball drop, and then about 1 minute after, put the iPad down and turned the movie
some
back
random
on.
guy in his smartphone was pointed up at the ball dropping. Ozzy's got it. It's live.
Got it.
Nailed
done.
it.
I swear it's live.
That's what we did.
That's awesome.
So,
all right. So Ozzy calls San Francisco. Jeff and I both call Kansas City. As for tiebreakers, we hopefully don't need them. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there.
Yep.
When we get back, we'll talk about something, because that's what we always do.
Yep.
I wanted to do at the end, I wanted to do like products liability, as in, if that camera explodes all over that guy, we'd sue the camera company and their insurance company, you see.
How did Yale out-rebound Baylor? You go up and grab the ball off the rim when it comes off, and then you grab it with 2 hands, and you come down with it, and that's considered a rebound. So they got more of those than we did.
There's a t-shirt of a headhunter a guy brought me from Borneo, which was kind of nice of him. He couldn't get me a shrunken head, so I got a t-shirt.
Did we ever report on the show that Coach Leach is now in the SEC?
Yeah, we did that last week.
Oh, did we?
Yep.
Oh man,
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yep,
I just
ruined it.
sorry.
I just want to make a T-shirt that says, "My friend went to Borneo. All I got was this lousy T-shirt."
That's amazing.
That'd be good. That would be good. And again, we want to congratulate San Francisco for winning.
Okay. Also,
Also, Kansas City, congratulations on winning the Super Bowl. Great job.
that
We didn't see it
rebound
coming.
comment, like that is a total like, I'm sick of your stupid question.
I love that.
It's up there with Trump's like when she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think," and he's like, "Oh, it's okay, you never do." Like,
it is. It really
it's up
is.
there with those kind
Yes,
of.
it is. It's like if you're going to ask me this stupid question, I'm going to give you this stupid answer.
And rightly so.
Where were we going with this?
So
I have no idea.
we were going to talk about Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Last Sunday. Yeah, it was last Sunday. I was.
Yeah, it was Sunday morning, right?
Yeah, Sunday morning. It was noon our time here in Nebraska. It would have been 1 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
It was 10 a.m. Pacific time. Buddy of mine leans over and goes. I guess it was about 1 o'clock our time, so about an hour after it happened. Buddy of mine leans over and goes, "Hey, Kobe Bryant's dead." I was like, "Man, what?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, it was a helicopter crash. TMZ's reporting a helicopter crash. Kobe Bryant's dead." I'm like, "Wait, what? No.
Which of course you're like, it's TMZ, so.
Well, right, TMZ.
Right.
Now,
Not
granted,
exactly.
they do have their finger on the pulse, and it's not like they're National Enquirer or anything.
True.
Reporting aliens or something.
Wait,
What?
That's not real?
No, Alyssa is not pregnant with an alien baby.
Wow,
What?
That took a turn. What?
What? Who said that?
That's what you get at a
That's
National
not-
Enquirer
have
or whatever
you-
the tabloid.
Have you been asked that?
No.
Why did
Again,
that come up? Like,
I was just coming up with some bullcrap.
I didn't know where he was going either.
I was coming up with some random tabloid headline.
oh, well,
Okay.
you could have prefaced
so
us
anyway,
for that. Like, prepped us for that.
TMZ
Yeah.
reported the crash first.
And
So-
just so you know, Kobe did not turn into an alien or go back to his planet.
No.
He stayed here. He didn't go back.
No, Michael Jordan's the one that went to outer space to play basketball.
That's right.
true.
And Rodman.
That's true.
Oh, that's right.
Which, yeah. Anyways,
that was never mind.
So yeah, Kobe Bryant, unfortunately passed away with what seven others, including his 13-year-old daughter.
That's rough.
And that, yeah, I can't even imagine what that family must be going through right now, or all those families must be going through right now, especially with the the Monday morning quarterbacking that's going on with the crash.
Yeah, I was in New York, and it was probably must have been several hours after because it was getting more to the evening. I was in New York for work. My wife texted me, and she's like, "You see, Kobe Bryant just died. He was 41 or whatever." And I'm like, "What?" And then that's when she told me the next text that it was a helicopter crash. So I didn't hear anything of him being sick or anything. So
how old did you think he was? I did not.
I thought he was
41.
50.
I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was at least 50.
I was like, wow, he's not that that much older than I am.
I know.
Wow.
I hadn't thought about it, I guess, recently because he hadn't really been in the news or anything on my radar.
Right.
So I guess I hadn't really thought. But when I heard he was 41, I really was shocked that he was that
Yeah,
young.
because I thought he was
grew up
only
watching
a
him
couple
play
years,
basketball.
Right. I thought he was only a couple years younger than MJ. That was the thing. Is like Michael Jordan is, I think, 56 or something, and I was sure Kobe had to be like at least.
Yeah,
50.
I thought he was in the same class, like same
Era kind of
era, but no, apparently not.
Nope.
Grief.
Yeah.
So weird. But then again, it's like LeBron James. I mean, LeBron James is, younger than both of those two.
But I mean, look at sports careers. I mean, that's the thing. We're talking about Brady. He's at the end of the run, should probably just retire, but he wants to make it to 45.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you're right.
Just, people retire from sports early, so we're like, man, Kobe's been out of basketball for a while. He's got to be, in his 50s. Nope, 41. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
So Jeff, I mean, you're the one with more aviation experience than all of us. Talk us through what happened, because it really baffles me.
There is a YouTube channel I follow. I don't know. Actually, I haven't dug in to see the guy that started it. The guy loves aviation. With the way some of it goes, I don't think he's super, super proficient to the level of like instructor or airline pilot or something with aviation. But he does. I don't know how he gets a hold of them. He gets the radar tracks of just interesting things. I think it's called VAS Aviation is the channel on YouTube. But he does radar tracks and then like the live ATC audio, which you can get online of interesting things. And it might just be a busy. Like he has a bunch of different things. Some of them are he had the Delta fuel dump from a couple weeks ago, where they ended up dumping fuel over the school. He, sometimes it's just like a ground controller getting all ticked off because everything's busy and getting messed up in New York. Like, it's just all kinds of random things. It's not just crashes or anything. And he had, within that evening, right after my wife texted me, I started looking around, and that was already up, the radar track and the audio from the helicopter flight. And I guess I still don't know exactly where they're coming from going to. I didn't dig that deeply into that.
They were
part
going
of
from
it.
Kobe's house to a basketball game.
Yeah, that's what I understood, is they're going from his house to a basketball game. And what I understood was that the weather there was really low, kind of foggy clouds at the time. So he was following some expressways. It's kind of, especially if the weather's clear and you know which direction to go, obviously you could just shoot across town in a straight line and find where you're going to be and land and get dropped off at the basketball game. When the weather's not very clear, he could follow some expressways around down there. And that's a pretty common thing, I would say, for helicopter, news choppers, police choppers, tourism choppers, following roads from the sky. So he had to skirt around the airspace of two airports, Burbank and Van Nuys. And that's where most of the ATC audio came in. And because of the weather conditions, so the weather conditions were about 1,100 feet overcast at the one airport, if I remember correctly, and about 2.5 miles visibility, which, Mathis, you did some flying as a private pilot. To be what we call visual flight rules, normally you need to have 3 miles of, and the clouds need to be 1,000 feet above the ground. So the clouds were just high enough, but the visibility was a little too low at these airports. Now, one thing that you can do, now that actually goes down to 1,001 mile in daytime if you're low enough to the ground. So the helicopter could have been, depending on, I'd have to look at the airspace charts of the area, could have been in class Gulf airspace. The key being they weren't necessarily doing anything illegal. It's just something where you're allowed to fly around and really reduce visibility. So then to get around the airspace of these two airports, you can't fly without permission with that low visibility. So they end up getting what's called a special VFR clearance, which lets you fly around with 1 mile visibility clear of clouds in controlled airspace around a tower. They get that permission. They actually have to hold for several minutes while a couple airplanes land their on approach. And then they skirt around those two towers' airspaces with permission, correct way, with the special VFR clearance. When they leave the airspace, they're asked if they want to get further flight following or something like that, and if they're VFR. And the pilot says, yes, we're in visual conditions, so assuming 1,000 foot of ceilings and 3 miles visibility. The pilot then tries to get a hold of the approach controller to continue to get flight following, which is where they just watch you on your radar screen and keep you separate from other traffic. Will they continue on their way to the basketball game? That's about the time he called. The helicopter calls approach. Approach says, where are you at? He tells them again, because they're following this expressway. And the controller says, you're still too low for radar there. And I think he calls him back one more time and says, hey, you need to climb. You're too low for radar there. And then they lose the radar signal. And I've seen a couple maps of it with some terrain, and it appears that they just plowed right into the side of a hill there. Some people are saying they were coming down and descending. So this is where I haven't dug enough. And of course, the NTSB will make their report. So I'm not 100% sure yet if it was just straight controlled flight into terrain because they just didn't see the mountain coming, or if an attempt to climb to get on the radar screen, they went into the clouds and the pilot became disoriented. And then that caused the drop out of the clouds to the ground. So either way, though, my guess, and again, you were just talking about people Monday morning quarterbacking. I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback it, but I'm going to say that the NTSB will probably find that it is pilot error.
More than likely.
There does not appear to be any mechanical.
I think the scariest part for me was when whoever he was talking, I think it was Van Nuys he was talking to, and he made the comment when the controller made the comment, you are too low for terrain, and then it was like,
did he say you're too low for terrain, or did he say you're too low for radar? I'm trying to remember. It's been almost a week since I've
I thought he
now.
mentioned terrain, but then
he
said
he
something
might
about,
have mentioned
he said,
there's some terrain in
you're
the
too
area.
low, you're too low, and then all of a sudden radar contact was terminated.
Yeah,
and then it was like, whoa, man,
And
like,
so you don't hear anything from the pilot. I don't know if there would have been a CVR in those helicopters, cockpit voice recorder. They may have required one, being a charter company.
So I have a question for you, and this is a report I was reading yesterday by NBC News. So Ara Zabayan, who was the chief pilot of Island Express helicopters.
Okay.
He was the pilot who unfortunately was flying when the aircraft crashed. He did have an IFR cert.
Okay.
But they make some comment in here that Island Express helicopters didn't have authorization to conduct flights in bad weather. Does that make sense at all?
I saw a couple articles talking about this. I didn't dig deeper, A, because I was busy at the time, and B, because I've seen some atrocious reports. The trouble with aviation is that people
no one knows what they're
enough.
Talking about.
And so when they start reporting on it, it's worse than guns, folks. Like, it's literally worse than guns, the horribly inaccurate information. So I couldn't gather whether they were saying that the helicopter, because there's some required inspections that have to be done at certain intervals, that even if your aircraft has the installed correct equipment to fly in the clouds, instrument flight rules, that equipment has to be inspected at certain intervals.
Right.
And what I couldn't gather from the articles I saw, maybe you can tell me from the one you're looking at, are they saying that the specific helicopter did not have its, or that the entire company did not have a certification?
The way it's written is that although and I'm quoting here from NBC News, although pilot Ara Zabayan did have the proper federal certification to fly by IFR or instrument flight rules, he would have been restricted to observe the licensing held by Island Express helicopters. Okay. In the first paragraph, it says the California company that owns the helicopter that crashed, killing Kobe Bryant and 8 others, was not licensed to fly choppers by cockpit instruments when visibility was bad.
So it sounds like, and I'm not nearly as familiar with helicopters, it sounds like maybe there's a certain an extra certification for your company. Any type of I've ever had in the aviation industry, that's just a given part of the certification of the things I've been associated with, instrument flight rules. But with helicopters, there might be an additional certification that you can literally get, like a sightseeing tour company certified for only visual conditions, or a charter company for only visual conditions. And you think about it, there's some reasoning behind that. This helicopter was going from Kobe's house to a basketball game.
Right.
To get out of the clouds once you're in them, in airplanes, for example, you have to use certain guidance systems, and approaches have to be created. Even if you're using a GPS, there is a specific plotted GPS course of what we call an approach to get you out of the clouds and to the airport. So at an airport, a helicopter could shoot those approaches. It can hover, so it's a lot easier for it to do it, but it can shoot those approaches just like an airplane. But if you're going from somebody's house to somebody's gym,
right,
there's no instrument approaches, so you can't fly from Kobe's house to this gym in the clouds, unless the way you could have that certification is if the clouds are really high and you're up in them getting what we call vectors from controllers, and you're still high enough that the controller can authorize you to descend, and you break out below the clouds, well above the ground. You can see the ground and then land. So that might be why, is this company is just for shuttling people back and forth, and doesn't have a certification. So I don't know. It unfortunately sounds like, again, without Monday morning quarterbacking, it unfortunately sounds like the pilot was
that's
very
what we're doing.
The pilot was,
it's okay.
We'll be doing that Monday morning, though.
yeah. We're doing it on a Saturday, so it's okay. It's a trap you can get into where you have some high value clients, you have a schedule you have to meet, the weather's kind of low, but you've probably dealt with this before, and pilots tend to be very mission oriented, so we got to get this mission done, and I think I have the skills and the ability to do this. and probably disregarded some safety things to try to get the mission done. That's a very initial analysis. We'll wait for the NTSB to come out and see everything that happened, because I obviously don't know everything that happened. But it's an unfortunate incident. What's driving me nuts is with all the misinformation about, because another thing that they've pointed out, I don't know if in that article, but other articles, is that the helicopter did not have either a terrain awareness system, TAWS, or GPWS, ground proximity warning system. It did not have either of those systems. And I would assume it had some sort of at least GPS database of terrain, but it's saying it didn't have an actual awareness system where it would call out and alert the pilot if you got too close to terrain.
Right.
And now there's already a Democratic lawmaker that is proposing a bill that would force the FAA to require a terrain awareness system on every helicopter. So already, just so that you guys know out there, just so that you listeners out there know, it's not just guns. It's not just guns that they see an opportunity to inject their power. And I get it. This isn't even a power grab, like, now I have control, versus the guns is a power grab. But this is just, there's an entire group of people out there that the answer is, well, Big Daddy government could have prevented this if we forced everybody to have this $40,000 system on their helicopter. And
that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. You should have the choice to have what you want on your helicopter.
And it's amazing because I'm sure that's not the first time that something like this has happened. It's just it's high profile enough that everybody.
Well, no, look, Payne Stewart a couple years back.
That's
Jeff was talking
different.
about it. Yeah, it was different, but it's still
a depressurization issue.
Same with the guys from good grief, the Van Zant brothers.
I'm blanking on that one.
Yep.
Was it good grief? You don't remember that?
No. I there's Payne Stewart, there's JFK Jr.
Leonard Skinner, half the band died.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner, the Van Zant brothers. I'm sorry. Wow, my culture-y side is not working today.
But no, and I get it. There are times that because you could argue that, yes, from the Wild West days of airmail and the original airlines, government regulation has helped make things safer. Obviously, those on the pure libertarian side would say the market would eventually help make those things safer. I feel like I don't necessarily go pure libertarian on something like aviation with a little bit of regulation. But at the same time, to just every time something happens, immediately require a regulation that you would think fix it. You know, it's not like
planes are not just falling out of the sky.
Exactly. In the early days of aviation, when it was planes falling out of the sky left and right, and like the death ratio was terrible, and the government coming in and saying, okay, there at least has to be some basic standard you build your airplanes to and you train your pilots to. That's one thing, and unfortunately, that's what opens the door to this regulation, right? But now, in the era we live in, with already essentially over-regulated, to say you must have this system just because it's available, no. Like, get to know the company you're using, and if you feel like that's an important safety feature you want, use a company that has it, or don't use a company that has it. But it comes down to the excuse will get made that things are too complicated, the average man can't know about these things, so the government has to force the company to have all the safe things to keep you safe. That's the regulatory argument, and that worries me.
Yep. Well, yeah, it does.
Because again, there's some indication that the helicopter came out of the sky and down into the ground, which would indicate that it wasn't even a terrain warning system. It was a loss of control in flight. And that's what we're going to have to wait for the NTSB.
Yeah, the NTSB will definitely figure out what's going on with
that was probably more detailed than you want, but you asked for detail.
I asked for detail. So I got more detail from this from our interview with you than I have gotten in the entire reading, 50 articles on the unfortunate death of Kobe Bryant, his family, or his child and their friends.
Exactly.
Which is
because
tragic.
those people don't know what they're talking about in those articles. They were just assigned to cover it. Now, here's the other thing, completely not even aviation related at all, that I saw to the reaction of all this that I think annoys me about our current social media era. So you have the immediate reaction to Kobe's death, and you have a lot of people like it was like their dad or something, Well,
that was kind of amazing. I mean, it was weird.
It's shocking, right?
There's billboards in Omaha. There's billboards in Omaha celebrating Kobe's life.
Yeah, and he did amazing things in the world of basketball. We all knew him. Like a whole generation of kids grew up just chucking things at the trash can, yelling Kobe, right? So we kind of get it. He was a big sports figure.
I didn't either.
But I was hometown sports guy.
I was a Michael Jordan and
there you go.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen. Those were your guys.
Oh yeah, Scottie Pippen. Yeah, I was
Grant
in Chicago
Hill because I was a Pistons guy.
I was in Chicago in '98. We lived in Chicago.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I can understand.
I got a soft spot for the '90s Bulls.
But so there's the immediate reaction, like it's this utter travesty. It's a terrible situation
to an end because one person died.
Exactly, and it's like he's a very important figure. It's a very sad and tragic event. It doesn't affect my life in a way to bring me to tears or anything.
But my goodness.
But then, 30 minutes after you have the people that are like, oh, it's terrible that Kobe died. And then it's a real tragedy anytime a young person dies. So now it's Kobe and his daughter. Like, that's obviously very terrible news to hear. And then you start getting the reactionaries that are like, hey, there were 6 other people on that helicopter. It wasn't just Kobe. But then you almost have the people that are taking that reactionary too far, where it's like in your face, where they're sharing like, hey, here's the other 7 people that were in the helicopter. They matter too, almost as like a screw you to the people that are commenting on Kobe. And then you have the third group that hops in that says, essentially, who cares about some helicopter crash in LA? I just heard about this jet that got shot down in Afghanistan or whatever, and 3 service members died. So I'm gonna honor them. And it just becomes this like battle on Facebook of who am I going to actually talk about? It's more important that Staff Sergeant whoever got shot down than that Kobe died. And I'm like,
this is how you know it's serious, is if you change your profile picture.
Exactly. But I'm like, people, they're all lives. They're all important. Of course, Kobe's going to grab headlines because of who he was, and people didn't really know who the other people were. Yes, it's a tragedy that the other people passed away too. All of their families are. And yes, it's sad that media is more obsessed with maybe a pop culture figure than what's going on in the Middle East and with our military. But it's not this like Olympic Games of grief where you got to show that you're a better person because you actually are more sad about the military jet versus the Kobe helicopter versus the folks. Tragedy is tragedy. It's not a competition.
That's what it's all about, though. Is how much it's all about feelings now, because you get that with
virtue signal, man. Virtue signal.
You get that with the Republicans and the Democrats, where it's like like with the Democrats losing to Trump, and then you have all these people that are like, well, but I don't feel like he deserves to be president. I don't feel this way. And I don't feel all of this, and it's like, well, it has nothing to do with your feelings. Yeah, like that's why we're set up the way that we are with the checks and balances, is so that you don't have mob rule going off of their feelings for how things happen.
Mob rule is your evil white supremacist talk for democracy, and democracy is important. Awesome.
Sorry.
So this is going to be a democratic socialism. Mathis, Matt, we have totally lost Mathis.
No, I'm adjusting. Children have touched some equipment up here in the beautiful front porch studios, and I am trying to fix the buttons that they have pressed because I noticed Ozzy's voice is a little lower than normal, so I'm gonna have to fix that in post.
Well, hello.
That's because he's finally hitting puberty.
Oh, there's that.
Subtle, Jeff. I'll tell you what it's like.
I mean, you see that neck beard going on there. Oh, that's it. Excellent comeback.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I know the title of the show.
I'll tell you what it's like.
Yeah, that.
Thank you, Mr. Farage, for 4 minutes.
Thank you very much. So this is it, the final chapter, the end of the road. A 47-year political experiment that the British, frankly, have never been very happy with. My mother and father signed up to a common market, not to a political union, not to flags, anthems, presidents, and now you even want your own army. For me, it's been 27 years of campaigning and over 20 years here in this Parliament. I'm not particularly happy with the agreement we're being asked to vote on tonight, but Boris has been remarkably bold in the last few months, and Ms von der Leyen, he's made it clear, he's promised us there'll be no level playing field. And on that basis, I wish him every success in the next round of negotiations. I really do. But the most significant point is this. What happens at 11 p.m. this Friday, the 31st of January, 2020, marks the point of no return. Once we've left, we are never coming back, and the rest, frankly, is detail. We're going, we will be gone. And that should be the summit of my own political ambitions. I walked in here, as I've said before, you all thought it was terribly funny. You stopped laughing in 2016. But my view has changed of Europe since I joined. In 2005, I saw the constitution that had been drafted by Giscard and others. I saw it rejected by the French in a referendum. I saw it rejected by the Dutch in a referendum. And I saw you in these institutions ignore them, bring it back as a Lisbon Treaty, and boast you could ram it through without there being referendums. Well, the Irish did have a vote and did say no and were forced to vote again. You're very good at making people vote again, but what we've proved is the British are too big to bully, thank goodness.
Oh, man.
So I became an outright opponent of the entire European project. I want Brexit to start a debate across the rest of Europe. What do we want from Europe? If we want trade, friendship, cooperation, reciprocity, we don't need a European Commission. We don't need a European Court. We don't need these institutions and all of this power. And I can promise you, both in UKIP and indeed in the Brexit Party, we love Europe. We just hate the European Union. It's as simple as that. So I'm hoping this begins the end.
No teleprompter, by the way.
It's a bad project.
No notes.
It isn't just undemocratic, it's anti-democratic, and it puts in that front row. It gives people power without accountability. People who cannot be held to account by the electorate. And that is an unacceptable structure. Indeed, there's an historic battle going on now across the West, in Europe, America, and elsewhere. It is globalism against populism. And you may loathe populism, but I tell you a funny thing, it's becoming very popular. And it has great benefits. No more financial contributions. No more European Court of Justice. No more common fisheries policy. No more being talked down to. No more being bullied. No more Guy Verhofstadt. I mean, what's not to like? I know you're going to miss us. I know you want to ban our national
They just
flags,
showed Guy
but we're going to
Verhofstadt
wave you goodbye.
In the picture.
And we'll look forward
and he's like,
in the future to working with you as sovereign.
And now they're waving flags. And they cut him off.
If you disobey the rules, you get cut off. Could we please remove the flags?
Because the whole delegation is waving UK flags.
Yep.
Mr. Farage.
And flags are not allowed in the Parliament.
Remove the flags, please.
That's it. It's all over. Finished. Gone.
Could I please ask for quiet?
And they're so British.
3 cheers.
He's just soaking it in.
Please sit down, resume your seats, put your flags away, you're leaving, and take them with you if you
Oh,
are
my
leaving
goodness.
now.
And now the rest of Parliament starts cheering.
And he's just sitting there with his flag still up. Everyone else sat there down. His is still up on his chair.
If I may say, just in a slight reference, the word hate
and they're
was
slowly
used
walking out
in the last contribution. And I really think, given what we listened to prior to this, that we should not hate anyone or any nation or any people.
And he didn't say that at all.
Didn't say
such
he
a
hated
kindergarten teacher move. He said, "We love Europe. We hate the European Union." That's not a people or a group or a nation. That is a power-hungry, money-sucking leviathan that needs to be slayed. That's what it is.
It's funny because it's very akin to what was asked a week and a half ago at the Democratic debate, or said at the Democratic debate. Okay, so there was an episode that Elizabeth Warren claimed that Sanders said that a woman could never win presidency.
Oh, that was great.
Okay. And yeah, sounds interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually said it, right? And so
did he say never, or that this time around people weren't ready?
I don't remember the exact quote. Doesn't really matter, because what ended up happening is in the debate, the moderator said, "Hey, Bernie, did you say this?" And he goes, "No, of course I didn't say this." And then he defends himself. She turns to Elizabeth Warren and says, "So, when Bernie said this, what was your reaction?" And it's like, whoa. He just said he didn't say it. And then she just turned to Elizabeth Warren and just blindly was like, "Oh, okay. So when he said this," and it's like, there was no alleged, there was no anything. It was always just. So anyway, I think it's just an interesting parallel, the pettiness.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because you were saying the whole question thing of, he says, "Nope, I didn't say that," and then the person asking the question immediately says, "So how did it feel when he said that to you?" Well, he just said he didn't say it,
So
and just
you have to go with
face.
Okay, it's alleged. When he said the alleged thing,
no, that's it. They're setting him up because the party machinery doesn't want him to win.
No, but that's a totally different topic.
And we saw that last time. And we saw that last time with delegates and everything else. So
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But yes, that speech. Oh my word! I mean, I guess what we can say right now is there are parts of the UK that might be more American than half the Americans are right now.
Have you been watching
that was more Patrick Henry than anything else, I think. There, you know.
Have you guys been watching the tweets? People in 2016 were like, "There will be no Brexit," blah blah, and they're like screaming. And one of them was like, "There's going to be no Brexit, and there's going to be no Trump in the White House." and someone sends a picture with like Nigel Farage and Trump standing next to each other. So the guy who did the tweet. And then another guy was like, "I can't wait to never see Nigel Farage ever again." And then yesterday they get tweeted the big picture of smiling Nigel Farage.
Just like absolute epic mic drop speech.
It's amazing.
And I think the best part is the speaker just completely didn't get it.
Oh, the head of the union or whatever. Yeah,
whatever it is.
Right over her head.
Yeah, it completely went over her head, and all she heard was hate.
You're just a mean little person who doesn't like what we're doing to save the world.
Oh my!
Do you guys remember when the European Union was founded in 93?
No,
you don't.
I was 5.
Yeah, I was 7. I was 7.
Okay, so
was this
he remembers
before or after the
because
wall?
He also remembers the wall coming.
See, I knew you were gonna say that, which is awesome.
And landing on.
I remember the wall coming down. I apparently don't remember the speech, which I'm sure played over and over and over again in 1989. Jeff. But anyway,
because you remember things from '89 when you were 3.
I do actually, strangely enough.
Things that were political, not like your favorite tricycle.
I don't remember my favorite tricycle. That's
or
sad.
hobby horse.
Well, I had a whole stable full of those.
Sorry.
No, like 1993.
Anyway.
I remember, like, and it could have been a year or two after that too, where people, especially Christians, were like, "Oh man, this is the start of the end," because it's like, the new world order.
The one world
all
government.
Conservatives were starting to come out about that, and it's like, whoa, guys, come on. And I always thought it was kind of weird at that point, but anyways, so 27 countries, not including Britain anymore. So 26, or have they fixed that?
I don't know. You're reading the Wikipedia page. When was it last updated?
I have no idea.
I love how that's the reference. The Wikipedia page.
I just assumed that's what he was reading. Yeah. Hey, that's what I had to go to figure out who Guy Verhofstadt was. So
that was so funny because they kept cutting to him.
Yeah,
during
his
speech,
reaction was
and he's
his
like,
reaction was pretty good. So he's a guy who's been a big proponent of the federalization of the European Union. In other words, which when I first heard that term here in this article, I'm like, federalization. Okay, so he wants the European Union to kind of be separate. No. Not that kind of federalism, like states' rights federalism. He wants it to be
it to be the U.S.
governing body. He wants it to be a European
world government, baby.
Confederation. Yeah,
which is kind of disturbing.
A little bit.
I mean,
especially
the European Union was started as an economic union that everyone in there would trade and just, people can walk borders and can
think
free movement.
NAFTA. Think NAFTA kind of.
Oh wait, kind of like the original intent of the United States.
Meaning?
Well, when the United States was started, it wasn't supposed to be some large, behemoth of a government. It was supposed to be 13 individual colonies becoming states.
Yeah, and that was called the Articles of Confederation, and it collapsed pretty quickly.
Well, right, but
it's okay because the South will rise again.
Oh my goodness!
I knew it was coming.
Goodness.
No, I get what you're saying, Mathis. I would say the United States was intended to be a country, though.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more organized than that.
And then again, maybe that's what you're saying. Like the people that started this, I think, fully intend for essentially Europe to be a country of states.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that we should just not have any borders, Aaron.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
If you think about it, though, a lot of the European countries are the size of states. So I know that we're all like, evil Europe. Like, I think maybe is what Mathis is going for. We're all like, evil Europe wants to be one giant government on a continent with all these countries looped into it. That's evil. And then it's like, we basically have 50 states that are the size of their countries, and we're basically one entire continent. That's a country.
Well, no, I'm saying the parallel is there between us, and I think they saw us as an example, and we're like, oh, we want to be that.
The difference
but you got to beat somebody down first.
Yeah, I say the difference is until recently, we were one giant country with different races, but a fairly common culture. And Europe is so old and so established, you have so many different cultures over there that you would try to smash into one big centralized government.
So you're trying
to turn nation states into states. We have always just been states within a nation. The arguments about the indigenous peoples that were conquered, et cetera, but Europe has been Western nation states for eons, and you can't break that down into some giant behemoth.
No, you can't.
Build it into one, whichever way. Break it down, build it into whatever.
I'm fascinated by
Byzantine Empire all over.
I'm fascinated by the number of countries in Europe that aren't in the European Union. That's interesting. So Norway is not in the European Union. Neither's Iceland. Which, do they even count as Europe? I don't know if they do.
Does anybody live in Iceland?
Yeah, of course they do. Sweden.
That's right. Trump Tower's going there.
Right, exactly.
It's going to be the 51st state.
Switzerland is not. Switzerland is not in there.
Switzerland's not a part of anything. Remember?
Yeah, they're like we'll sit on our guns and our money and our mountains
and our chocolate.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
And then you've got Bosnia Herzegovina is not in there.
Well,
Serbia, Montenegro, Kosovo, Albania, and Northern Macedonia.
Yeah, those countries are just the little scraps that Europe fights over. Like that balkanization is why the term balkanization comes from there, and you can't smash that all together into one thing.
Squish.
What is that there? Is that part of Russia? Does Russia have a weird part that's not part of like any other country? It is.
It's called the
north of Poland.
Called the Crimea, and they stole
No. That is not
Ukraine.
Crimea.
Oh, okay.
That is not Crimea.
I didn't know what you're looking at.
So south of Lithuania and north of Poland, there's a little jog of land.
Did you know they were Lithuania and Poland, or are the names on the map?
No, I actually knew those. Strangely enough, but yeah, no. So I'm looking at this map here, and I think that's part of Russia. Like I think they have like a chunk of land on the Baltic Sea that is not. That's weird.
So here's a question: is the European Union? I haven't even paid that much attention to their flag. Do they have 27 stars for 27?
No, their flag's like the world with a little wreath around it.
No, it's just a blue flag.
Just a blue flag with stars.
That's the UN. You're thinking the United Nations.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind. You're right.
There's only 12. There's only 12 stars. There's only 12,
I don't know.
12 stars.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
So let's see here.
Apparently, 13 is the perfect number.
Well, I'm looking here. I'm looking at the history of the European Union.
I'm all about a flag with a circle of 13 stars.
I am too. A couple stripes in there, red,
few red and white stripes. Yeah. Blue background behind 13 white stars. I'm cool with that one.
Sounds like a winner.
So let's see here. So in 1992,
then there's that racist flag with the crossing blue X with the white stars in it.
Oh, you mean the Virginia one?
The battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia.
The one that's not actually technically the Confederate flag?
It's the flag of the Northern Army of Virginia.
Northern Army of Virginia, yeah.
I was just trying to get Mathis riled up with that statement.
No, it's okay.
It didn't work.
I'm totally beyond that.
Tombstone would be tearing the place down right about now.
So there was the European communities is kind of what started it all in 1965. And then they had the European Atomic Energy, European Coal and Steel Community, and the European Economic Community. And then they added in 92, 93, they added in the Justice Department and the Common Foreign Security Policies. And that's what the official kickoff of the full European Union was. That was what was signed in 93, which created the political arm of it.
It's just a nightmare for more people to get power, and
absolutely.
I hope that several other countries follow.
Did you see that they're banning? They want to streamline all. They want to streamline all. Power. What do they call the power boxes that you should put into the wall and you put your
they want
power jacks?
They want to
standardize them.
Standardize all chargers for all like cell phone stuff. And who was telling me this the other day? So literally they're just all the same. There's not separate. And we're not saying it from what I was told. I have not researched it. From what I was told, it's not the plug into the wall. It's not the wall part that they want to be the same. It's that Apple can't have the Lightning charger and Samsung have the USB-C or whatever. Everybody's either got to be USB-C or. Is that correct, Mathis?
Are they trying to just why? Why are we trying to do this?
It's the port on the device, not the wall.
Because they want.
Is that correct?
But why?
It was shaky. It was shaky.
That's what I'm saying.
I read two separate reports, Jeff.
Of that?
Okay, so they claim that there's 15 million tons of electronic waste, and that contributes to like 1% of it.
Oh,
power chargers being thrown away. And so if they can keep power chargers from being thrown away, then they save the world.
No, I knew that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Everybody knows that. And so then they bill it as, oh, we're going to save you money by having standardized chargers, so you don't actually have to sell chargers with your equipment.
Oh, so they're going to save us money by making the companies all have the standard chargers and then raising how much the phones cost.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up a report on it right now. The actual report from
I see how
the
that
EU.
works. That's brilliant. Save money on the front end so you can pay more on the back end. It's great.
Right.
Because we know that's how that's going to work.
I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it?
All right, title of the initiative. So here's the impact assessment.
It was a 582 to 40 decision, by the way, and I don't think Britain was involved in that one. After they walked out, they were the 40 against. They were like their last screw you to the European Union was here. You're not getting that.
See, here's the stupid thing. Like,
yeah, so you are correct. The new rules would force Apple to ditch its proprietary Lightning connector.
Yeah, it says the common charger solution was based on the USB 2.0 micro B3 socket. A progress report provided by the Memorandum of Understanding signatories in February 2013 indicated 90% of new devices placed on the market by the signatories and other manufacturers by the end of 2012 supported the common charging capability.
So they're claiming that it doesn't explicitly say that, and that the EU is focused creating on the standard charging adapter rather than forcing the individual devices to use a specific port for charging.
So if they're if they're arguing that it's just the part that plugs into the wall, the cord has to plug in with a USB.
Yes, with a regular USB connector or a USB-C connector, either or.
That already exists.
Not really.
I don't know of many phones that don't have the separate USB goes into the wall port.
But I have multiple different ones in my house. Like I have USB-C and I have the regular USB.
No. The part that goes into the phone or the part that goes into the wall charger?
Into the wall charger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the USB-C
I've only seen standard USB. Now everything's switching over to USB-C.
That's because that's why. That's exactly why. It's because it's just technology is through that transition. Through that,
you mean the market transition?
6 years through that 6 years of transition period where it goes from, okay, you know what, the standard USB that was like, what, for the past 20 years?
So what?
We've used that 25 years that we've used it.
What happens?
And now it's transitioning to something better and smaller. So it's like eventually it won't matter because there won't be any USB.
They base this plan on the USB 2.0. But when the USB-C comes out, you're going to have to change everything from the old technology. It's like,
if
everyone should only use cassette tapes because 8-tracks and record players are bad. So all music must be on cassette tapes in the European Union. And by the time you get that all in place, oh look, there's CDs. Heck, there's not CDs. There's MP3 players, and you're still saying everything has to be on a cassette tape for standardization.
Right.
Now
technology is going to move.
Because Jeff brings up a good point. So why don't we ever hear about like how much waste is being reduced by the fact of buying digital copies, and that most people aren't buying, like for instance,
think of the VHS tapes or DVDs that were on the shelves at a Blockbuster.
But think about it. With Best Buy does not carry DVDs or Blu-rays in the store anymore.
Wait, what?
You didn't know that?
Who?
Best Buy.
I don't shop at
our Best Buy here does.
Oh, ours doesn't.
Yeah, our Best Buy.
They revamped.
There was probably some
them,
state law in New Jersey that required that.
It's possible. Let me look it up.
Yeah, last couple weeks I was in there and I bought a whole bunch. Also, by the way, Cyprus is in the European Union of all things. The little island south of Turkey.
Hey,
basically in the Middle East. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my thing is, so when they're throwing away stuff, when they're throwing away all the old adapters to standardize, what are they going to do? I mean, there's going to be waste anyways from that.
Well, and I still don't understand because again, I feel like I've seen some of my family has like the Samsung Galaxy stuff. I have Apple stuff. And I feel like the part that plugs into the wall, almost every single one I've seen has nobody sells a charger that's a solid connected plug and cord anymore.
No,
everyone's cord is also a data cord, so it has the proprietary part that plugs into the phone and a USB 2.0 on the end that can plug into the computer or the charger. So of course,
the only ones that use proprietary parts that plug into the phones are
Apple. I understand.
Apple.
But I could take my Apple Lightning cable and plug it into the USB my sister's Samsung phone and charge it. Are the amperages exact? Who knows? Who cares? Gets electricity into the phone. Some super person that understands the little bit differences that those amperages could cause. Email tombstone at thefrontporchshow.com. But my point being, you can interchange chargers already. So I don't understand what this nonsense is other than just government control. That's it. It's government control.
Well, they're trying to save the climate, Jeff, and that's where you and the rest of the world don't agree, apparently.
That's true. I don't care that, more of Australia is burning than ever before, except that actually, statistically, it's a smaller fire year than the last several years. And
it is actually a really big fire, though.
And most of them were started by people.
It is 65 square miles.
Jeff,
it's the size of.
It's a pretty big fire.
Pretty soon you're going to start bringing us up facts about the Amazon burning.
Oh, you mean that it's not? I mean, it's on fire, but not.
But how will we get 2-day delivery?
Next day, man. It's next day delivery now.
Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Barkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. We're going to California and Texas and New York. We're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
So in the words
from WWE.
of my late friend Aretha Franklin, show some RESPICT.
So 2 weeks ago, sorry, Ozzy.
Sounds like he says Fred Aretha.
He does.
He probably does.
Instead of friend Aretha. It's like Fred Aretha. I'm like, what?
RESPICTQ. I got lost in the middle of my
Did
words.
that guy ever? Who's the guy that's the take over the White House? Did they ever make it and take over the White House?
No.
Wasn't that Trump? I thought that was Trump saying something stupid.
Oh, that's right. Okay, good. Yeah, obviously.
He also said he was going to drain the swamp, but
Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp.
He's trying, right?
Well, probably not. That's not on topic for right now.
No, it's not.
But it's about to be.
Or I guess it was 5 weeks ago now.
Is that how long ago
it is? That is when we started this.
I've been busy.
That is when we started. 5 weeks ago, we started the Trivial Pursuit Genus Edition.
Genius, which I is one of them.
Yes.
Genus 2 Edition.
Is it Genius?
No, it's Genus 2.
It is. It is Genus 2.
I know.
Again,
Genus 2 Edition.
It was Genus the first day.
Now, remember, guys, this is from 1984.
That doesn't help me any.
From before
the first week, Ozzy beat
This is the stuff that Aaron remembers happening.
That's true.
That's why he doesn't play it.
That's true. You guys must have Trivial Pursuit in your houses somewhere. I mean, one of you guys can post one day. So I am more than happy to, in the next week or two, take on one of you guys.
I think I have like Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, I would do terrible. That would be amazing.
Let's do Harry Potter. I could do really good at that one.
You can find out how little I know about either.
That one.
So we are doing Trivial Pursuit. Remember, guys, we have the categories here.
I'm pulling them up.
No.
We have geography.
Uh-oh.
We have entertainment. We have history. We have something in literature, I think. What is
Art and literature.
Art and literature. We then have, is it science?
Science and nature.
And then we have
sports and leisure.
Sports and leisure.
Now, you said this is a 1984 game.
Yes, it is.
But according to Wikipedia, which we all know is the beacon of truth.
Yes.
The Trivial Pursuit Master Game, a Genus Edition, Volume 2, came out in 1987 by Coleco Games, and then it was revised in 1989 by Parker Brothers.
So this was 1984 Horn Abbott Ltd.
I don't see.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
there it
I'm
is.
telling you. I mean, I'm reading the box, Jeff. I can't be that crazy.
I'm trying to find the right. I'm trying to find the right categories to see if we got the categories right here in Wikipedia. But we did get them all right. They are the same, so we're good.
Okay, that's good.
All right,
so
let's
Ozzy, as the winner against Jeff last time,
I'm not keeping score.
Jeff's
again.
going first.
Good.
And thankfully Jeff is keeping score.
Jeff's trying to keep score. He's not good at it, but we're trying.
Because I'm pretty sure last week or the week. Well, you couldn't keep score
bad.
2 weeks ago against Tombstone when you were epically murdered.
It was bad.
I mean,
so the key is we're picking the category, picking number of points. If you get it, it's right. If you're wrong, it's negative plus the other person gets a chance to steal.
We're not doing the negative.
Get it right. It's if you get it wrong and Aaron doesn't say the answer,
then
you get a chance to steal those points.
Then it gets passed. So no negative points. It makes it too confusing. It makes it too confusing.
Like negatives.
Yeah,
negatives just put people.
Want somebody to go down by 30 negative 30 points to positive 40 again. It
was too tragic. It was way too tragic.
So we're a typical millennial snowflake show, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, yes, in a way. Yes. All right. So Jeff, you get to go first. Which category would you like, and for how many points?
What are the point options? 1 through 3?
1, 2, or 3.
5.
Let's go.
Yeah. Are you homeschooled or something?
Trebek, I'll take let's go history.
History.
For 2 points.
History Alex. For 2 points. What was Alfred Carl Fuller the first of?
Do I get options?
No.
Alfred Carl Fuller.
Nope. Googling.
First of?
Yeah. What was he the first of?
Hey Alexa, who was Alfred Carl Fuller?
No.
I'm trying to get your Alexa to go off in the background there.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
What's the language of origin? Alfred Carl Fuller.
I have no idea.
He was. I can't even come up with a funny guess.
I got nothing.
No, it's because the answer's not funny at all.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to come up with it. He was the first Undertaker in the New World. I don't know.
Incorrect. I'm sorry.
You said it wasn't funny, so
no. It's not funny because I don't know what it is.
Don't say the
Ozzy,
answer.
would you like to steal the question?
He invented catheters.
No. I mean, unless
I love it.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. So Alfred Carl Fuller was the first of the Fuller Brushmen.
What is that?
I don't know.
I was gonna say he was the first character on Fuller House, but
I mean,
Fuller Brushman. Let's see what we got here.
Was a Canadian. He was a Canadian-born American businessman and was the original Fuller Brushman. What's Fuller Brushman?
I don't know.
It's a.
He went to work for the Somerville Brush and Mop Company.
It's a product. Like
Fuller Brush Company sells branded and private label products for personal care as well as commercial and household cleaning. Founded
goodness
by Alfred Fuller.
It's the original Mr. Clean, guys.
Consolidated Foods, now Sara Lee Corporation, acquired Fuller Brush in 1998.
I'm sort of scared by the picture that I found.
Whoa! Well, that's the Fuller Brush, man.
I didn't see a picture.
Well, look, she's got a smile on her face.
Right here.
I didn't get any pictures, so I don't know.
That's all I Googled Fuller Brush.
Ozzy, grab that picture and send it to me. We're going to put that on the Facebook page. Whoa.
All these old 1950s ads.
To each their own. Don't send me that one, please.
Now, see, if it was Ace. Oh, that's a red Skelton skit. This is the Fuller Brush man.
Yeah. Oh my! It is Red Skelton. Okay.
Wow.
That's amazing.
If you'd have said like Ace Combs, like they're still around, I'd have known that.
Oh, it is a Red Skelton.
So that's fascinating. Look at that. He's a brush man.
They made all kinds of brushes, from hair brushes to toilet brushes to scrubbing brushes.
Okay, that's better.
They were literally brush men.
Oh, that's so much. I thank God.
But apparently it was also a red. But apparently it was also a red Skelton.
It was probably It was probably like a promo at the beginning of his show.
No, I think it says Red Skelton in the red.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to look it up.
Anyways, all right. That's fascinating.
Oslin's half of round one, as we both have struck out so far.
All right.
So, Ozzy, what category would you like?
Let's see here. I would like to go with science and nature.
Science and nature.
Yes.
All right.
I would like it to be both of those.
How many points would you like?
Let's 3.
3 points. What part of the body consumes 40% of the blood's oxygen? Why are you laughing, Ozzy? What part of the body consumes 40% of the blood's oxygen?
I'm going to say brain.
That would be correct.
Yes!
How many points was that?
3 points.
3.
And that's a 3-point question, and I'm supposed to know the Fuller Brush man.
I mean, at least you get to pick the points before I ask the question.
But I'm saying that was a 3-point question.
Well,
all right, round 2.
I don't pick questions. I just pick the next one on the list.
Flick it away.
So,
flick it away.
Jeff, it's your turn. Which category would you like?
Well, see, now since that was so easy, I want to go with science and nature, but I'll probably get some really obscure.
It doesn't work out all the time. That was my strategy too last week.
In fact, it really didn't work out.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
Let's go with geography.
Geography.
Oh no!
How many points?
I guess I got to match them, so let's go 3.
All righty, 3 points for geography. How many of the 7 wonders of the ancient world were in Egypt? Do 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 do. Are you ready, Jeff?
You stole my answer.
My answer is 2.
You would be correct.
Dang it!
The Sphinx and the Great Pyramid.
I thought the Hanging Gardens were there.
No,
were the Hanging Gardens in Babylon?
No, they're in Babylon.
Okay.
So yeah,
which would be.
I was just trying to figure out if there was one other one. Yeah, like Iraq area. I was trying to figure if there's one more I was missing.
I was wondering if it was also the Alexandria, the library in Alexandria, which
that wasn't.
We don't know if it exists or not. What? The library in Alexandria was Alexandria, Egypt, wasn't it?
No.
Yes.
It wasn't. Hold on.
Alexandria was up on the.
Alexandria is in Egypt, but.
I thought that was considered.
There's also a library in Alexandria, Virginia.
Well, yes. I would hope so. Hopefully they have a copy of the Constitution there because people there need to be reading it.
I don't think this was one of the wonders, 7 wonders of the world, though.
Oh, wait. There is actually a library in Alexandria, Egypt.
Yeah. It was one of the largest, most significant libraries of the ancient world.
No. But I'm saying like there legitimately is a library there now.
It was part of the Ptolemaic kingdom.
But for some reason, I thought that was one of the great wonders. But I mean,
All right,
I
well,
consider
now
it
we
one of the
have
great
to-
wonders. Now we need to figure out what are the great wonders. What are the 7 great wonders?
This is Hanging Gardens, Pyramids, Sphinx. What else was there? That's all I got. That's all I got. I got 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 7. Hold on, let's look it up.
I remember having to.
It's probably
study this.
the Fuller Brush Man's probably on there somewhere.
Right. Okay. Great Wall of China.
Okay.
Petra.
Okay.
The Colosseum in Rome.
Oh, right.
Just
Rome.
Jeff left channel
They're
and
saying-
disconnected.
They're saying Chechenista down in
Gesundheit.
Mexico.
How about the Taj Mahal? Is that one? That might
And,
be modern. That might be modern. We need ancient.
Machu Picchu, Taj Mahal, and Christ the Redeemer. Which those might be modern ones. I
No,
don't know.
those are modern. Those are modern.
So I want the old ones.
Hold
Then
on
put
there.
in-
Jeez Louise.
So what are the
All right,
save
here
and
we go.
wonders of the
Here we
ancient
go.
world?
have
Here we go.
Here we go. Pyramids, the Hanging Gardens, the statue of Zeus at Olympia in
Oh
Greece.
yeah.
The Temple of Artemis, the mausoleum at Helicarnassus.
Helicarnassus.
There you go. That's what I said. The Colossus of Rhodes. I don't know what that is. And the Lighthouse of Alexandria.
Colossus of Rhodes, wasn't that
That one I don't know. Why do I
that's Greece. It was the big statue that was supposed to be standing out
By
on
the
the point.
by the
Okay.
port. Yeah,
Yeah,
standing
right,
out
yeah.
on the point.
Right.
Lighthouse of Alexandria, which again would be Alexandria,
Hey!
sometimes called the Pharos of Alexandria, but it was the Ptolemaic kingdom.
So that wouldn't be so there's another one in Egypt.
Alexandria's east. Yeah, it says location Pharos, Alexandria, Egypt.
Jeff,
No, there's only 2 because I was thinking the Great Sphinx was one of them.
the
It's
Sphinx,
not.
and the Sphinx is not one of
The
them.
Sphinx is not, but the Great
Oh!
Pyramid is. So I was not counting the lighthouse, but I still got 2 in Egypt, and it doesn't matter how I got there. I got the right answer.
Which that's pretty incredible. Obviously that doesn't exist, does it? The lighthouse in
so
Alexandria?
the lighthouse was
I don't
destroyed in
believe so, right?
1303 by an earthquake.
Wow, okay.
And the Colossus was destroyed by an earthquake. The mausoleum was destroyed by earthquakes.
Dang.
The statue of Zeus was disassembled and then reassembled at Constantinople and later destroyed by fire.
Oh, I was hoping an earthquake.
I was really hoping for an earthquake.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like that California needs to get on their idols and stuff like that, building stuff, because
Yeah, so then they can be destroyed by an earthquake.
opportunity, right?
And then the Temple of Artemis was destroyed by arson and plundering. No one knows what happened to the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. It also
probably
says existence unresolved.
Yeah, I was going to say they may
if
not
ever even
exist.
existed. And then the Great Pyramid of Giza is still in existence, as we know, though it's crumbling.
Right. Interesting.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
So
I got
Ozzy, it
things
is
to do.
Ozzy, it
Ozzy's
is
question
your
for
turn.
round 2.
All right,
because we're
3
doing like 5
points.
rounds of this.
Sports and leisure for 3.
Sports and leisure for 3 points. Ozzy, how many inches apart are adjacent pins in 10-pin bowling?
Jeez.
Because everybody knows this off the top of their head.
Right? I would say 8 inches.
You would be incorrect. I'm sorry.
10 pin.
So for 3 points, you can steal this, Jeff.
5 inches.
How tiny are your pins? You're incorrect.
Between the pins. The pins
Yeah.
can be as big as they want. There's 5 inches between them. That's the
Yeah.
question you asked.
No,
Right?
it's 12 inches. It's 12
There's
inches.
an entire bowling ball would fit through that gap.
I'm reading you the answer here. How many inches apart are adjacent pins in 10-pin bowling?
I don't know what an adjacent
12.
pin is then. What's
Side
an
by
adjacent pin?
side by side pins are 10 inches apart. 12 inches
Apparently,
apart.
12 inches apart.
10 pin bowling pins set up?
I mean,
dimensions and layout of the bowling pin rack.
I'll take your word for it. Jeff, do it.
Yeah.
Do the next one.
Next question.
I don't care that much.
Next question.
You don't bowl.
I do bowl, but that doesn't mean I care.
And we don't.
That's why they have the little machine that puts it down for you.
Let's see.
So yeah, it is 12 inches apart.
All right.
I think I said it was 10.
I guess
12.
No, it's 12. It's 10 pin bowling. It's 12. I guess that makes sense because there's a pin sitting in front of in that gap.
Yeah.
So it's filling that gap. So I wasn't thinking of that. So that makes sense.
You never are.
I wasn't. I never am. What was it? No, go ahead. Excellent reference.
You're welcome.
Excellent reference.
You're welcome.
Intro.
Nice.
Hey, I'm going to go sports and leisure as well. Why not?
Sports and leisure.
Wait, whoa.
How
For
many
how
points?
many points? Ooh.
Three.
For
Go big or go
3
home.
points. Wow.
So I guess I'm going home.
What
I know, right?
What was Mary Decker, the first woman to run in less than 4.5 minutes?
That question doesn't seem worded right, but I'm going to say a mile
That is correct.
Nice.
because of the time.
You'd be correct. Ozzy, it is now your turn. This is round 4 or 5?
I'm gonna
Round
go
five.
This is round 3. This is the second half of round 3.
Really?
The bottom of the third inning.
Wow.
I'm going to go with entertainment
Entertainment.
because I am willing to get squashed here.
What string instrument can... Oh, no. Give me how many points?
Oh, 3.
You said that. What string instrument can play the highest note in an orchestra?
My guess would be violin.
That would be correct.
Wait. Does he have to get the type of violin?
No, it's just the violin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good clarification though there, Jeff. Jeff, which
That's
one would
pretty
you
easy.
like?
That's pretty straightforward.
Do entertainment and get stomped. That's always what happens. It's always like
horrible.
one really easy one, and then it's like, wait, what?
Let's do it. Let's see what's
right.
next on the entertainment list for
All
3
right.
points because
Let's
we
do
got to do 3.
All right. Jeff, who played Fred Mertz on I Love Lucy?
Oh my gosh.
It's like a show I know and everything, but I don't know the
I know.
actor's name.
I know, like, there's it's Lucille Ball.
No. Keep your mouth
Well,
shut.
obviously it wasn't Lucille Ball.
Or yeah, Ricky.
Yep.
Gervais.
I don't know. I honestly don't know his name.
It's Frank something.
Is that your final answer?
I honestly don't
that's
know.
my final answer.
It's. Are you stealing, Ozzy?
The only other person I know on there is Desi Arnaz, and I know it's not him.
Yeah. So you both.
So
got
I
it
don't
right.
know.
It's
I
not
don't know
Desi
the name.
Arnaz? I thought he played both roles and just wore a
Right?
costume.
Yeah.
So it's William Frawley.
Oh, yep. Nope.
Yep.
That wasn't coming to mind at all.
I've watched probably every episode of I Love Lucy there is growing up, but I didn't remember that name. I just remembered Desi Arnaz.
It's because they don't. It's because they don't say it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Desi Arnaz, Lucille Ball.
Which
Let's
it's Ozzy. What would you like, Ozzy?
let's go with let's do entertainment again for 3. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. I'm banking off of the should be an easy one now.
Okay. What 1984 movie of murder in the military did Norman Jewison produce and direct? Now, I quote, "We're going to go with entertainment because it seems easy."
Right.
No. He was banking on this being an easy question because
Yes.
the alternating.
Yeah. Wait, read it again.
What
Murder in the
1984
military?
movie of murder in the military did Norman Jewison produce and direct?
Few Good Men.
No, that wasn't in 84.
Okay. You have name one movie.
That was about the best old murder military movie I was coming up with.
That was like
I realized it was probably the 90s, but like
Mathis, you can't handle the truth.
That's the only murder in the military movie I can think of.
Okay, Jeff, you go ahead.
I literally can't even think of another name.
Too, by the way.
I really can't think of a name.
It was. So
I'm just going to say no answer.
It was A Soldier's Story.
Oh, obviously.
Oh boy. Well, man, that was a pretty creative title.
Mathis was like, "How dare you didn't know that?" It's like,
well, he remembered it from the wall. He was watching that movie while the wall came down. And he was listening to Reagan's speech on the radio.
Oh my God.
and watching the movie. All right, we're tied up at 6 going into the 5th inning, which I guess is going to be our final inning.
Our final inning. So, guys, you can bid up to 10 points in the final round.
Ooh. Wait, but does that make the question harder? Do you have like a final round card?
No.
That's the whole point of the points thing, is it makes the question harder.
No, it doesn't.
Shut up, Karen.
You're being
just
too
pick
logical. Which category would you like, Jeff?
I will say I did hear somebody like get in a fight with a Karen while I was at work the other day.
That's awesome.
He really did. He really did. He was walking like 6 feet in front of her, and he went, "Really, Karen? I don't know why we have to go through this." It was hilarious. So
that's amazing.
I almost busted out laughing.
That's amazing.
Let's go. Science and nature for 5 points.
All right, 5 points. Science and nature. What species' fastest member moves at the breakneck speed of 0.0313 miles per hour?
Really?
That's the question.
It's gotta be the snail.
That'd be correct.
Dang it.
That was solid.
It seemed too obvious, and I'm like trying to go through other slow animals in my head, like the sloth or something, just because I'm like, what's he gonna throw at me here? So,
all right,
yeah.
All right.
I would like science and nature for 6 points.
Yes, good call.
Not
for 6 points.
6.
Okay.
Win by 1. It's all that matters.
Actually, can I get science and nature for 4 points? Actually,
4 points. Wait, what?
He loses. He gets it right and loses.
That's awesome. Does adrenaline open up or constrict blood vessels?
Opens up.
Jeff, would you like to steal?
What?
It constricts the blood vessels.
What?
Yeah. According to this 1984 Genus 2 edition of Trivial Pursuit, it constricts them.
Ask your nurse wife.
Hold on.
I think that would make sense to some extent.
Because the tunnel vision you get.
It increases blood pressure, but so it decreases the vessel size, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I don't know.
All right, so I don't need to steal to win, but the steal is an obvious answer. So why don't you give me?
Oh, you get the
just
points.
one more.
One more?
Or just give me for fun. Just give me a different science and nature question, just to see if I get. It'll be 6 points. See if I get those 6 points.
Okay.
Since it was a yes/no thing.
Does the female red-fronted gazelle sport horns?
Didn't know where we were going there for a bit.
We're not that type of show, Jeff.
Talked about in 1984.
1984 was a very interesting decade.
Female red-fronted gazelle. Didn't know those existed till right now. I'm going to say yes, they do have horns.
They do have horns, Jeff. They do.
Wow.
And there we have
6 points. There we have it.
Nice.
I beat
Nicely done. Nicely
Ozzy
done.
by 11, 17 to 6.
Dang it.
You won. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to play that. I meant to play the clapping.
I still don't
sure.
believe this. Yeah, right. I don't believe that either.
Shut up.
So we're 1-1, baby.
Well, 1-1 is the official record. When we come back, we're going to talk about Donald Trump and his impeachment. Briefly.
I don't like peach-flavored mints.
Did you see where Biden wants to take me to the back of the barn? Me. Some things in life you could really love doing. I don't wear a toupee. It's my hair. I really am.
Nobody would pay for that toupee.
I am a young, vibrant man. The time for empty talk is over.
Is this our tombstone
Now
intro?
arrives the hour of action. We will make America great again.
There we have it, gentlemen. Okay. So,
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Keep
So
America great,
basically-
2020.
Basically, that was his
for you,
entire
Mathis.
speech in Wildwood summed up in a 40-second intro.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, sure.
I know. I can soundbite this president as easily as anything.
Oh, dude, he's awesome about that.
And America sucks it up. So, So, guys, we got to talk about Trump here. This week
Oh, are you still going?
we're still going. The Trump fiasco has started this week. Not
What
started,
Trump
but
fiasco?
it's ending.
Do tell.
It's been going on for 4 years.
It's true. Okay.
Aaron just got
As
into
of
politics.
I just started following it. What are you talking about?
He still thinks Reagan's around.
It's true. One could hope. One could hope.
We're past tearing down walls. We're trying to build them.
We're trying to build them again. Yeah.
Welcome to 2020.
It's amazing. It's amazing how far the Republicans have done a 180 on this. We're
I'm just saying.
tearing down walls in Russia. We're building them in Mexico.
I am not
And-
opposed to a wall on the Mexican border.
So here
How about
totally
the
random,
15,000
totally random.
troops that are from Mexico that are on the border now?
Are there really?
Yeah, you
I
didn't know
missed
that?
No, I didn't know that.
That was in the president's speech
I
the other
don't-
night, and I Googled it to see if it was true.
I don't have an issue with a wall as long as because of the cartel situation.
As long as it's a big, beautiful wall.
No, because of the cartel situation.
And
No,
Mexico pays for it.
It has to be the best wall.
Like
It's got to be huge.
The problem right now is the cartels, and
Absolutely.
if we didn't have the cartel issue, we could very easily have a border like we have with Canada. It would be very easily policeable. But because the cartels,
Canada.
because the cartels are trucking
I see
people
what you did there.
across,
Here, check it out.
What, Mathis, where have you been all along? Because you've been railing on this libertarian rant of open borders.
No,
to the total
I
detriment of our
have
country.
not. I have
Wait,
not.
wait,
I have
You-
never.
You're Mr.
Wait a
You're
minute.
Mr. Open Borders.
I have
Let them
never.
all in.
No,
Mathis is libertarian?
And this is all we've been saying.
I
all
have
along.
never.
We don't need a wall on the Canadian border because they're not coming across the border and murdering us
I
and
have
bringing in a
never
ton of
been
drugs.
open borders. I've been opposed to a physical wall, yes, because
We need a wall.
the
We
cost.
need a wall on Canada so Snidely Whiplash doesn't come over.
That's interesting. See, I did not know about the deployment of
Yeah,
troops.
he said it in his speech last week when he was here, and I was
When you're
like,
talking
"Oh,
to the
that can't
100,000
be."
people.
Yeah, yeah,
The 100,000 people, which ended up being what 25 or 30.
around that. Yeah, was my guesstimation. Is about 25 is what I heard. But
That's ridiculous.
and I have to give it to him. He did not say that there was 100,000 people. Rush Limbaugh said there was 100,000.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Rush
He
Limbaugh
did not.
quoted Trump's
No.
campaign sources. Though.
Rush Limbaugh did not quote him because
He
I
cited-
looked that.
No.
I looked.
He
No.
didn't. He didn't quote Trump. He cited his campaign.
Are you gonna listen to my face? He did not quote him correctly. His campaign manager said the same thing Trump said. Rush Limbaugh did not. Rush
You mean
Limbaugh
Rush
said there was
Limbaugh's not the beacon of
100,000
truth?
people. Oh,
Well,
down.
after all, he's on loan from God.
No. His talent is on Logan.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Which actually, depending on how you take that statement, is correct, but that's not how he means it.
No. He means it in the most sacrilegious way possible.
No. Anyway, where were we at? Trump.
Okay, so Trump. So
yeah, there are Mexican troops on the border.
Interesting. That's fantastic.
Hopefully on the Mexican side of the border.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Not anymore. Sorry.
Invasion. War, Jeff. War.
I watched this movie. It's the Cubans and the Russians, not the Mexicans.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. Obviously, we're safe.
So, so where were we? Trump impeachment. So yesterday they voted not to call more witnesses. So that was interesting.
All right.
How do you feel about that?
I think I'm fine with that. I heard a commentary on why that is, and basically it was like, you know what? Screw you guys, because I don't need to prove anything else. That's essentially in not giving them the satisfaction of belaboring the trial. They're just trying to bring it to, you know what? This is ridiculous. It needs to end. End it.
Okay, so let me ask you the question.
And I'm there too, Oslam, because they called how many, like 14 plus witnesses in the House. That was the place to call these witnesses. They would not allow, they had secret meetings in the basement of the House leading up to it in their commissions, their, what do you call them? Their,
I don't know, whatever the terms are.
Committees.
The committees had their meetings, would not allow the Republicans, whatever you think of this, he said, she said, we're on these two sides of the issue. Like, this is the problem with the two-party system, but they would not let the Republicans call any witnesses. It was only the Democrat-controlled witnesses. Whoever they wanted said what they wanted. They did their 14 witnesses. It was an urgent thing to get it to the Senate. Then they sat on it for weeks. It suddenly wasn't urgent. And then it was, now it's urgent. We got to get it to the Senate. Now the Senate wants to move it through quickly, and it's no, we need to slow down and have more witnesses. And it's just a nightmare. So I'm with you. Just get it over with, because you had your chance for witnesses, and it is what it is.
So my issue with the witnesses is this. This is turning into the Kavanaugh thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Because remember with Kavanaugh, as they were proceeding through the what is it called? Through the
hearings.
Confirmation hearings.
Yes, confirmation hearings. Every time a source or witness was debunked, another one was presented.
Let's call up another
one, like sticking spaghetti to a wall. And that's what it felt like with this as well.
Yeah,
we can't get him on this. We're going to throw something else at him. We can't get him on this. We're going to throw something else.
It's here's these 10 charges and here's the witnesses on them. Not, oh, shoot,
we're looking for charges.
One didn't happen, so let's bring another charge.
The other thing that they were talking about was how that and Trump's lawyer toasted them for this. How that they were making accusations that weren't in the official documents that were brought before the court. And then he went, if you want to accuse him of this, it needs to be in these documents that you brought of charges, and it's not. So you can't, it's not admissible for you to talk about these things.
Exactly. The grand jury happened, and the two charges they came up with were, I'm blanking on them now, because it all started with the quid pro quo part of it.
Right.
And they said that was, and I think they ended up settling on bribery and corruption, or no,
obstruction
of Congress, and I think bribery,
which I don't even know if obstruction of Congress is even
impeachable offense,
right? Because technically that would be covered by the executive executive privilege, by simply telling your staff not to go before them. And see, that here's the thing: the Supreme Court can waive the quote unquote executive privilege and subpoena them. But the House never went to the Supreme Court to get them to subpoena, so none of the subpoenas that the House sent were actually enforceable.
Yeah,
because they did not hold the weight of court.
Because they didn't think the court would do it, because they think it's a lopsided Republican court now, which who knows how it would have gone. But you're exactly right. It's been a throw stuff against the wall till something sticks.
Yeah.
And their latest hope was all of a sudden, supposedly this Bolton book supposedly the mustache has a statement that there was a quid pro quo. The aid was withheld until the investigation was started.
Do you think that they summoned him or his mustache, or was it two different summons?
Ozzy, I can give you the answer for that.
If you summon the mustache, he has to come along. Like the mustache,
right?
Bolton's mustache is like Sean Connery.
I was there. I saw it all.
But what happens if he trims his mustache before that?
I talk funny.
This is why we need Tombstone, so we can help Jeff out this time.
No, just where I'm at is Trump 100% just as pure as the driven snow as his supporters want to make him out to be? We all know that, and we all knew that going in.
He's Donald from Queens, man.
Exactly. But by the same token, the president has to have the power to investigate corruption going on in countries that we're sending aid to when that aid money is literally disappearing. And when it's potentially disappearing back into the pockets of other Americans, he has to have some leeway to say, yeah, we voted to give you this money, but you're just dumping this money into a corrupt black hole and we don't know where it's going. It's not going to the infrastructure we're supposedly supporting, which why are we supporting your infrastructure anyways when we're in debt? But that's a different story. And so it all comes down to, does the president lose what should be? I think we agree that should be a power the president has. Does he lose that power simply because the person that needs investigating is related to his political opponent? And I understand, would Trump have pursued it as aggressively if it was not someone related to his political opponent?
Right, there's the question.
Probably not. I know, Mathis, you've said before, intent matters. I do believe intent matters, but in the end, if it's within the power of the presidency, and they have not shown evidence that, because all the Ukrainians are saying, no, we weren't told, the money wasn't withheld for this purpose. That's what the Ukrainians are saying. And the money was eventually sent. So I think it's just a sling stuff against the wall till something sticks. I mean, Schiff has just proven to be a liar over and over again with mischaracterizing conversations and outright false statements. I love Crowder has done a couple bits called "What a Piece of Schiff" with Adam Schiff quotes.
Careful as you say that.
Yes, you have to be very careful and pronounce his last name correctly as you go for that euphemism. But it's very frustrating, this whole situation. And the other thing is because you have people on record saying trying to impeach him from the very beginning, and it's what can we impeach him with? And then it's, well, there's the Russia investigation. That'll get him. Well, that didn't get him. So let's go with something else. And that's where I do not want to defend the man, but I think it's just what attack can we find? And so I'm sick of it and I want it over. My gut instinct would be if you're innocent, call the witnesses and prove you're innocent, and call the Democrat witnesses too to expose them. But at this point, don't give them that chance.
I think what the Democrat Party is doing, and they don't realize it, is like you have a bunch of the people that didn't vote for Trump who are now like, this is getting ridiculous. You know what I mean? And just to say, hey, you know what? This is getting ridiculous. You guys are crazy. And now you're trying to, I mean, maybe the Democrats will get a larger turnout this time, but I think Trump is going to get a larger turnout of people who didn't vote for him also, who are just tired of the insanity of this and going, you know what? This is dumb. I'm going to vote this man in just out of spite.
I don't remember. Did Tombstone vote for him last time? Do we remember?
Probably.
He said Tombstone is now reaching, because he doesn't necessarily like the man, but he is now reaching, I will crawl over a mile of broken glass to vote for him levels of frustration with the other side.
Yeah, because it's insanity.
I voted third party last time. Depending on the day, I look at the insanity, and I'm back to possibly casting the lesser of two evils type vote, because it's just insanity. You're right.
It is.
And look at what's happening in Virginia. If you give them an inch at all, they're going to take it and they're going to run. There is no restraint anymore.
Right. Well, it's because they think that Trump is so radical that they have to have radical changes. And that's the whole, it goes back to the whole thing where you have these protesters where it's like, okay,
reactionaries.
You can have this peaceful protest, but then you have these people who are violent and they don't understand that their violence is not okay because they're like, oh, well, it's justified because this man is racist, is a hater, is this, and we need to do something violent against him.
To them, speech is violent,
okay.
So then they can attack. Yes, to them, speech is violent, so then they can attack.
Right, and so everything's being justified by this like crazy logic that's only being perpetuated in everybody, how they're learning, the schools, by, you know what I mean? And now you're looking at it on the news and how they portray all of this. And it's like, you know,
I think the left has always been like this bubbling under the surface. I think that they've reached a level where they some of their new ones, the squad, if you will, the young ones, the ones that are just crying out, that they're believing, that have bought all into this revolution, burn down the system, remake the system. The long march to the institutions is about done. And these young ones have come out too soon and exposed who they truly are. And the older ones are going, wait, you can't be honest about it yet. But the cat's out of the bag. And now it's just this big old battle.
What are your thoughts, Aaron?
He doesn't have thoughts.
I just want it to be over, guys. I'm sick of it.
I'm looking forward to the videos of when he wins, of all of the people crying again. Because
when he wins,
they're gonna be so much more epic. When he wins
like 45 states,
they're gonna be. I'm honestly, I'm kind of curious whether or not, because there was a large turnout for his rally here in New Jersey.
Yeah, 100,000 people.
Yeah, 100,000 people.
It wasn't that big, but for a rally though, like, I mean, it was packed
for a rally in rural, literally rural coastal.
Right.
New Jersey.
Any part of New Jersey that's rural?
Technically, his is pretty rural. No one's there. No one's there during the winter.
No. There's 8,000 people here during the winter that live here.
All of a sudden, they've got 25,000 people because none of the locals went.
But it's crazy though. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
My biggest fear is what it's doing to our country on the big level.
Yeah.
At some point, the conflict has to happen. At some point, when one side thinks the other side is such an enemy and wants their total domination and downfall, at some point the conflict has to happen.
It's ideologically impossible not to.
It needs to happen politically before it happens.
Yes, please.
Physically, kinetically.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. No violence. Like that.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear. I would rather see the country dissolve into like six different countries than to have to have a violent.
Mathis is promoting a Nebraskit.
I'm advocating some sort of Midwestern states. Look, guys, the East Coast and the West Coast is so totally different than what we hold to in the middle of the country culturally. It's
your answer, I think, is the country's lost, so instead of forcing the country back to its founding culture, split it up and concede portions of the country.
I just want.
I can see his point.
I want it to end without violence. I want it to end without violence.
I was going to say, how do we see that without violence? That's what I'm saying.
I would like to see an Article 5 Convention of the States tried. It's not, because here's the thing.
That terrifies me. That terrifies me because
you have to look at the progressives moved very slowly through this for decades. So you can't win one election and turn it around and be back to George Washington and Thomas Jefferson.
Did you see what I sent you the other day about the Equal Rights Amendment?
You can't if you call it Hamilton.
We have to move. I glanced at it.
Okay, so let me sum this up. So back in the 80s, back in the 70s and 80s, there was a big push for an Equal Rights Amendment that in the Constitution that protected
have to be paid
men and women equally. You're not You're not discriminated against for your marriage status, your sexual orientation. You know, it goes on and on and on and on and on.
Which that should only apply to the government, not to any private businesses or anything.
Right, exactly. That's where the libertarian in me says
that's technically all the Constitution can apply to. Is the
right, but they want it to apply everywhere, which then therefore would mean the freedom of speech and the Second Amendment also apply everywhere as well. But regardless. So, anyways, a bunch of states, like 35 states signed on, okay, to this Equal Rights Amendment. And then in recent years, Nevada, Virginia, and another state, I forget which state it is, also signed it.
Virginia just signed it with this takeover.
Right? The interesting thing is that the Congress had a sunset bill on it. Like, if the states don't approve this within 10 years, it's going to sunset and it's done. And then those 35 states that already signed it have to re-sign it. Well, they didn't. It's sunsetted. And so now those three states, Nevada and the other state and Virginia, are now going after the Department of Justice to get them to say that it's still open and that we have to have an Article 5 convention for the Equal Rights Amendment.
No. It wouldn't be an Article 5 convention. My understanding is this was a proposed amendment and states voted on it. Maybe I missed that.
Maybe you may be right about that. You're right. You're
under Article 5.
You're right.
It's just the amendments can either go through the process of Congress voting on them, et cetera,
or the states starting on them. So this was Congress started it.
The states can call a convention for the purpose of proposing amendments.
Okay.
And the only control the federal government has over it is, I think, helping set the location.
I think you're right.
Maybe the date, but they literally cannot control what goes on. They can't control who the states send to it. The federal government can't touch it. And then the states send their delegates to this convention for the purpose of proposing the amendments. And then from there, when those amendments come out, whatever comes out of by a certain number of votes, whatever, and I forget the numbers, forgive me, it's been a while again, so I've dug into, I'm ashamed of myself, but you have essentially, you have the 2/3 to come out and then the 3/4 to ratify it, I believe is the way it goes. Yeah. So 2/3 to come out of the process and then 3/4 of the states then have to ratify it. So it's essentially the same process as far as numbers as Congress. It's just wholly controlled by the states.
You're right. And so anyway, those three states are pushing to get this saying it's ratified and that it has to be added to the Constitution. Now, states like Alabama and South Dakota have since rescinded their
rescinded their vote, sunset.
And Virginia and Nevada and the other state there are claiming that is not allowed. And so, anyways, it's a big court battle, and it'll probably make it to the Supreme Court. And so my concern, to your point, is I'm very concerned that if they set this precedent, that it doesn't matter how long the sunset is, that they can just keep going on this, that they could open up a big can of worms for whatever they want. Because look, that's what the left is trying to do. That's what progressives are trying to do. They've vocally said they are trying to take over states one by one, red states one by one.
Right.
And that they are going to turn them all blue. And that's just what they're going to do.
Well, and here's the thing. If they can't control them, the trouble with violating the sunset clause is that, years ago they managed to get Alabama to sign on to this. Then Alabama says, no, never mind, bad idea. And then finally, decades later, they get Virginia to sign on it. And now they say, oh, we have everything, when they haven't controlled all of the states at the same time.
So literally 40 years. And we have to go back and revisit this? You voted on something 40 years ago?
Now, it's interesting because my understanding is that the resolutions to call an article, it's kind of this way for the resolutions to call an Article 5 convention. Some states have done it in years past, but I don't believe there's a sunset clause. On the entire thing, there's not a sunset clause. So some states may put a sunset clause into their resolution where, in 2012, this state ratified a call for an Article 5 convention. If it's not done within 2012, they got to revote on it. Other states, it's passed and there's no sunset. So this state is still technically open to an Article 5. And when the right number of states call for it, it'll come up.
Right. So I don't know.
Most people are terrified of the Article 5 because they're terrified because, they're afraid that when it opens up, not only are we opening up to add a balanced budget or term limit amendment, but now technically proposed could be let's vote to eliminate the Second Amendment. Which I guess you're right. I guess you could propose in committee to eliminate the Second Amendment, but it's got to make it out of committee, out of the convention, go to the states and be ratified by the right number of states.
Yes. And
it's never going to get there. And also the people that are proponents of this say that you can have a limited the convention sets its own rules. So the convention rules could be set that this is for new proposed amendments to the Constitution and not to revisit any current amendments or something like that. There can be rules put in place to control a runaway convention.
Right. Maybe.
And here's the thing. If the only other solution is dissolve the union, then what's it matter if the convention runs away, right? Like you should at least try it and see if it doesn't run away first.
I would be nervous to see that. I would be concerned of a conflict after that. Like having the convention and then there being a conflict after that because
you could see it like a Brexit. The European Union votes on this rule, whatever, this constitution. A bunch of countries don't like it. They switch the name of it, force it through another way, brag that they can ram it through, and finally Britain says, "Screw it, we're out."
I mean, Texas has been threatening the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see. And I understand the problems with them because there's some negatives to them, but I would be interested to see a term limits thing for all federal elected officials.
What?
The downside of that is the lame duck year, because there's a year where they're lame duck where it doesn't matter. They're just like a president. It doesn't matter. He's just out.
Throw in a clause that you can get fired early.
So
wait, we're kind of doing that already. We're working through that right now.
And then I understand some issues with like a balanced budget amendment as far as if there's big emergencies that come up or whatever, but you can build in contingencies for that.
Yeah.
So spending has to be reined in. I think term limits, so these people aren't just living up there getting cozy with lobbyists and making all their money. Yeah. I think that a like one issue per bill type of amendment where you cannot pack 47 different things into a bill.
Yep. You mean like
slip budget and pork barrel stuff?
You mean a smoking ban for all people over?
Yeah, you can't slip that 21? Into funding the military. It literally is every line, because you know what? People would say, "Oh, that would take forever. We'd never have time to get this all done." Good, because if you have to cram that many things in a bill to get it done, it don't need to be done. So it would limit what they get done up there,
South
which
Carolina
would be probably a good. Tombstone's not here. I had to get it. So I would be interested to see those things, but that's why it's probably never going to happen because I'm a limited government proponent.
So. Well,
absolutely.
Can all be like the wall on the border?
Can all be libertarian
open borders,
like
Mathis?
No, I have never.
They cut my beard and forced me to eat it.
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Not a chance.
Who else in the level car say yeah?
I love that drum part there.
I mean, I'm aware that Trump says a lot of really random things, but George Bush, man, he had like the best stuff that he just completely missed. All cues and everything. He just was great. He was great at that. And then you just kind of like
Just rolled with it.
You didn't, yeah, he just rolled with it, and you didn't really feel like, oh man, this guy is an idiot. It was just like, I can't believe he just said that again. Like, he just messed that up. It's hilarious. I loved it. Trump, you just kind of cringe. George Bush, it makes you smile.
True.
It's just like it is hilarious.
Guys, I'm looking at this picture here
of
a man in his booking photo, and I gotta say he's the happiest. It's the happiest booking photo I have ever seen.
Is this Tombstone's booking photo?
Well, no, it's not. It's not. This is out of This is out of Tennessee. Hats off to Ben for finding this and sending this to us.
Tennessee, where's this? Lebanon.
Tennessee. This is not Florida. Shockingly.
Wait, this is in Tennessee, Lebanon, in the Middle East, or Lebanon, Tennessee?
Lebanon, Tennessee. So Spencer, Boston.
So wait, now we're in Boston.
Oh, Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer, Boston. He was in court for a marijuana charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
it happens.
He says, as he's standing there, I guess he postulated and he was going on and talking with the judge, and the judge, of course, about to give him whatever the sentence or whatever was going on, and he's there on a marijuana charge, and he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a joint and lights it. Kid you not.
He apparently turned to the audience and said, "The people deserve better."
Exactly.
As his punchline.
Uh-huh.
Now, how'd they let him in with matches? Because I'm lucky to get in with the clothes on my back when I've gone into
he lights right up
before.
and he starts smoking, and guy standing there is like, guy points to him, is like, dude, what's going on? And then the bailiff goes and arrests him.
Yeah.
And it all happens very, very fast. But yeah, he's as soon as the judge looked down,
doesn't even look like he got a long drag off that.
But guys, the people deserve better.
I like it.
Are you advocating for what this man did?
I am saying it makes for good TV.
It does. It really does. His booking photo is the best thing I've ever seen.
He's so happy.
He's the happiest man I've ever seen.
He is, yeah.
And
his face is just
to your
complete
point,
contentment.
To your point, I don't think it's because he was smoking weed. I think it's just because he's a chill guy.
He's yeah.
This
would be like if you arrested the dude and took him to court.
Oh yeah,
and didn't check him for doobies.
But I wonder if there'll be enough Taco Bell and Twinkies to satisfy him there in court or in jail after taking that hit.
He may have made a big mistake. He didn't count on the midnight munchies coming.
Yeah,
of all things,
with the weed confiscated, he might not get the midnight munchies anymore.
He does. So I'm watching this. He does take a good drag and then blows a whole bunch of smoke.
Oh,
so
he rips a fat vape. I guess it's not a vape pen. So
that is so funny.
So 10 days in jail for contempt of court.
That might be worth it though. Just saying.
This is Tennessee.
He's like, oh look, there's a GoFundMe for this guy.
Oh yes.
Man. Help him make bail.
It's amazing.
Oh, I like it. I like this. This is great. This is 100% America right here. It's just like defiance followed by the people trying to help him out.
Well, it goes to show you how many people.
Stick it to the man.
It goes to show you how much the country actually cares about this topic.
Oh my goodness!
As a legality issue,
it's so funny.
I guess. I can tell you one thing: it's become legal in Michigan, and you smell it everywhere.
Yeah.
Now
has it really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's recreationally legal now too in Michigan, and so it was medically legal a while back, and now it's recreational legal.
Isn't it funny how the same people screaming that you can't smoke all of a sudden are like, "Well, if it's weed, it's okay."
Well, yeah.
I don't know that they were screaming that.
They were trying to ban cigarettes. They're trying to ban tobacco cigarettes.
But are the people that want to ban tobacco cigarettes in favor of
here's
smoking
a question.
weed? I don't know that they are. I don't think those are the same that Venn diagram doesn't overlap.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It'd be an interesting thing to look at.
I really don't think so.
He's got $6,000 out of $10,000 goal on his GoFundMe. It's created 4 days ago for accidents and emergencies.
Oh my goodness!
Spencer was taken into custody for being a true bleeping savage. Free this man.
Yes, he is.
That's brilliant.
I thoroughly enjoy that. That really is funny.
And now we know why Tombstone's not here today.
So there we have it. Gentlemen, speaking of the munchies,
okay.
There was a cake eating contest in Australia, which ended in
all
tragedy.
of Australia was on fire.
No, no. I mean,
I thought every square inch of the entire country was just in flames.
Just like the Amazon is all on fire.
Yeah, square hectare.
Square
whatever.
Hectares.
Yes. By the way, a hectare is approximately 2.5 acres.
It is. So just about the same. It's kind of like
I looked it up.
A mile.
It's good. It's nice.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
Is it? It's a square kilometer.
Excuse me. A pound is 2.2 kilograms.
It's also
or
about
2.2
But how many? But
it's
how many
also
stone?
about
2.2 pounds.
It's also
But how
about
many
a buck,
stone is
buck
it?
20.
Stone is what, 30 pounds?
I don't remember. Anyway, let's get back to this cake eating contest.
So cake eating contest. Unfortunately, it did end in tragedy.
What?
She died.
What?
Yeah, 60-year-old woman had a seizure after shoveling a lamington in her mouth.
Wait.
Okay,
How?
what's a
6-year-old
lamington?
woman?
That's
Yeah.
cake.
Oh, a traditional Australian dessert. They're cube-shaped sponge cakes dipped in chocolate and covered in grated coconut.
Yeah.
Here's your problem. It's got coconut.
Maybe. It looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go try some.
Wow. Wait,
So
how
but
did
it had
she,
nothing
how
to
did
do
she
with.
die?
Was she allergic to coconut?
I don't know. It doesn't really say.
So she had a seizure.
She had a seizure. So, I mean, they say the death isn't suspicious. But,
Maybe it's just
Dying from cake is completely normal.
It is.
Wait. Sorry. Article on the side here. I just saw a headline. Reuters. Burger King says it never promised the Impossible Whoppers were vegan.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
What?
Okay.
No.
that.
We're we're going down the Reuters rabbit hole.
It said they're plant-based and not meat. They're not
That's
meat, but
true.
it didn't ever say. So it says
It
Burger
never
King
said it was vegan.
says that it never billed its Impossible Whoppers as vegan or promised to cook them a particular way. It says a proposed class action by a vegan customer over the plant-based patties being cooked on the same grills as meat burgers.
Oh, man. Wow. I mean, they're right.
So that's what it is. The person just assumed it's a plant burger. It's vegan, but this person is so strictly vegan that you can't have it cooked on the same.
They're cooking them on the same griddle.
Right.
No way.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. No wonder why they tasted good.
Listen, this is my
just coated.
It's coated in beef fat.
This is my whole thing. I'm telling you. Burger King, they have been fake burgers for the past 20 years.
That is
and
an
now
excellent
they got
theory.
caught. And now they got caught, and we're like, oh yeah, they've been fake burgers, but we've been frying them in actual burger fat.
I like your theory
That's
that with
why they
those
don't
commercials
taste
where
bad.
they don't taste the difference, it's that the Whopper has always been.
It literally
fake. That
hasn't
would be-
changed. Yeah, it's always been fake. They've just all of a sudden it's become okay and popular for them to say that it is.
Have you guys
we
tried
know
it?
Taco Bell's not meat.
No, I
have
never
not
go to
tried it.
Burger King. Burger King's terrible.
I haven't
It
been to
is,
Burger
I
King
know.
in forever. Their burgers, actually, I would say, their burgers
They're all
might be
right.
better than McDonald's burgers. I usually get chicken when I go out. I usually get chicken when I go out.
I think chicken's
McDonald's
a little safer.
fries.
Yeah.
The fries are obviously better.
I mean, I normally
I'll
get
tell you
I
though,
normally get
McDonald's-
Chick-fil-A when I go out.
Dude, their chicken nuggets are pretty rough though. My kids have had those before. They're
At
pretty
Burger
rough.
King?
Yeah, they're pretty rough.
Yeah.
So
all
They're running a sale on them now.
But-
just so you know.
But, that's interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to divert.
No,
from Lee
I think
dying from
that's
eating cake,
a
but-
great. That's
all right.
brilliant.
I know we're out of time, but this has been bugging me sitting here in our planning board the entire episode. So for folks listening, we use a little planning board that almost no one pays attention to,
except for Ozzy and I. Except for Ozzy and I.
He doesn't even open it up.
No, he doesn't.
And you can name the little card and link the article in it and categorize it and all this stuff. Yeah. But here is what it was titled by whoever put this on our board. The title says "Dog stabbed by nephew then chainsawed."
Yes. So let me
I
dive.
Want to know how a dog was stabbed by its nephew, and then where does the chainsaw come in?
Okay, so in my defense, when I see an article and I'm pulled over at the side of the road, of course, typing this into my phone.
Yeah, sure, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, that's
very safe. Very safe.
We know it's not true.
And I type this into my phone, and I put, a title in there. I try to put something to capture what I remember about the story.
So you remember the dog's nephew stabbed a chainsaw?
No.
Whatever happened.
This is at a Rocky Mount, North Carolina, of course.
Okay. Oh, of course, yeah.
Jonathan Maxey Bullock Jr.
It is Bullock,
the man.
Yes.
He's facing charges of animal cruelty and felony larceny of a dog. When he
nephew stabbed him first.
When he killed a brown mastiff named Trigger.
Mastiff!
Yeah.
Oh my
bull
gosh!
Mastiff, yeah.
Okay, so let me explain to you what he did.
Tigers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber.
That's true. T.I. double got her.
Thank you,
They're bouncy, bouncy, trouncy, bouncy, fun.
But the most wonderful thing about tigers? I'm the only one.
I'm the only one. It's true. Tigers are also cuddly fellows.
Really?
And they're awfully sweet. And everyone else is jealous.
Really?
That's why I repeat.
Boom. Boom.
You want to know about... No, never mind. Continuing on.
Let's talk about Cayenne West next.
All right, and
Cayenne West.
Is he? Wait. That's the
Kanye
new character.
West's nephew.
It's the new character. It's Kanye West's character on VeggieTales. Cayenne West.
Cayenne West. It's good. That's good, guys. You need to reach out.
We're gonna make money.
You need to reach out to VeggieTales right now.
That would be solid. There was a Babylon Bee article where there's a new weed character on VeggieTales.
I saw that.
It was hilarious. Okay. Sorry. This is a much more serious article.
So yes, Trigger the dog was
Tigger. That's the whole reason we went off on this.
Tigger the dog was Bullock's aunt woke up in the morning, went out and found Tigger was no longer on his leash. Called her nephew after hearing him say he would have killed the dog. Well,
what?
The dog's body was found in a shallow grave nearby. He stole Tigger Friday night, beat the dog unconscious, and later sawed the body in half with a chainsaw so it would fit in the shallow grave. Now, here's the mystery.
You couldn't just dig a bigger hole.
Here's the mystery. Deputies have only recovered one half of the dog's body.
What?
That's what the article says.
Okay, he's skipping all around. So apparently,
I was going to get to the reason. I was going to get to the reason of why he did it.
Aaron is having trouble with Englishing.
No, I'm not.
This 23-year-old
sure you are, Trigger.
told the aunt that the dog had jumped on a 2-year-old child who was also at the house. Doesn't say how the 2-year-old's related. However,
it's Rocky Mount, North Carolina, so it's related to one of them.
The aunt didn't see any apparent injuries on the youngster, is what the article says.
Right.
It uses the word youngster. So this is where he goes, I could kill the dog for jumping on the kid. And then she wakes up the next morning to find the dog gone. And apparently he beat the dog unconscious, cut it in half so it fit in the shallow grave.
Guys,
but that's
still only half the dog was found.
To fit it in the grave, that tells me that both halves are in the grave.
But only one half was recovered, Jeff.
No, it honestly could have been hauled off by wild animals if it was a shallow grave.
It could have been, I guess, but still only one half was found.
That's awful.
That's terrible. It's terrible. Okay, so
I don't know.
Look, guys,
I don't know.
Beating a dog unconscious.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that part.
Okay. But let me. I'm not saying that I don't, but let me put this scenario to you.
Dog attacks a child for the last time.
If a dog truly attacked a child, you take it and you put it down, whether it's a bullet to the head or take
I would do it in a very expeditious fashion.
So what I'm saying though is, it sounds like his aunt, I guess, was probably extremely attached to the dog and probably was not okay, and they probably have argued about this several times.
There's no evidence that the child was jumped on.
This was a crime of passion.
In this article, but
I'm saying though,
it says that there's no evidence of marks on the child.
A bull mastiff jumping on a 2-year-old is not a great idea, though.
No,
just saying. Because
did the dog jump on it to attack it, or the dog jump on it to play with the 2-year-old?
Doesn't matter.
Lick his face.
I hear you.
Because if the dog's attacking it, you might have it put down. If the dog jumped on the kid to play with them, you swat the dog and you teach it not to do that.
See, I'm a huge fan of large dogs. I love Danes. I love Mastiffs. I think they're amazing.
Large dogs are
very
gentle with kids.
But
they're more gentle than little dogs. Little dogs jump all over kids.
I hate to stereotype, but I'm going to. I have found that people down in the South don't exactly train their dogs very well.
Well, yeah.
And so some of these dogs are not.
I'm just saying.
And do you have the bull mastiff to be a nice little pet, or do you have the bull mastiff to attack the other junkies that are coming into your yard and stealing stuff from your house?
This is one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
I went there.
This is one of the reasons why our dog soaking wet at full weight is less than 50 pounds.
So that's just because you starve it.
If something needs to happen to it, I'm not going to get beat by a 130-pound dog and have to wrestle it to the ground, or have my wife have to have that problem.
I was going to say, you get beat by your 130-pound wife all the time. So.
I'm just saying.
I'm leaving this. I'm leaving this. So many places I can go with that. So many places.
All right. Anyway, listen to us on all those social media things that we can't remember.
Yep. All those. Guys, we're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're on Google Podcasts. We're also on iTunes. Check us out. Give us a visit. 1402-799-1811 is our message line number.
Call us, and let us know what your favorite Super Bowl commercials are. We'll talk about them next week.
Please email us, call us, tweet us, let us know.
We want to know.
Yep. And I won Trivial Pursuit.
Just had to get that in there. Jeff is a winner. And congratulations to Kansas City.